Hello, everybody. We're doing a live stream. I got everything working. Hooray. I tried to do this a couple nights ago. Couldn't. Let me turn down the music a little in the background. I don't know if that's too loud for you or not. Just playing some copyright-free synthwave here. And giving it a moment for people to recognize that the channels are live. I'm going to just pull up one thing here. I can see a lot of the chats in this window below. Hey, Najiad. Por ejemplo. So that'll show me any chats that come from Twitch, YouTube, or Periscope on Twitter. But it doesn't show me the chats from Facebook. So I'm just opening that on my, what do you call it? On my little phone here. My little phone. So if any chats come through there, I'll be able to see it. Got a few things to set up here. I've got topics to talk about, so that'll be fun. I'm happy to take any questions, of course. Hey, my sister's here. Hey, Jean. Also, hello to Billy and JJ the Wonder Boy. Hello, Trevor. Hello, Coffee Infection. Hello, Emmanuel. That was last drawing. So I've sketched out something. Last time I tried to live stream. It was like 2 nights ago. And for whatever reason, I just could not get my computer to work. This is a channel about drawing. Sort of. It's a channel where I will sometimes live stream and just connect with my audience. My main channel is Comic Tropes. But on this one, I do live streams. Mostly I'll draw during them just to like have some visual interest. And then I will eventually be adding interviews. So yeah, I figured out the problem, Ben. So anyway, last time while that was going on, like my fiance Chrissy spent like about an hour and a half trying to diagnose the problem. That's pretty amazing. While she was doing that, I was just sketching and stuff. I've now light boxed that sketch and I'm ready to ink it. So I'll be doing that, but I'll be taking questions from all of you. I've got some stories to tell. Hello, Jack. Hello, Aldi. So, yeah, happy to have folks here, and please feel free to ask questions. I also have an idea at some point, not right now, but at some point, I found this Mad Libs that I must have gotten at Christmas, and I thought it would be fun to do a group Mad Lib in a little bit. Just got myself a new Copic multi-liner. I've never used Copic multi-liners before to ink, so I thought I'd give that a shot. Let's see if why can't this. Hello, James. Hello, Hooded Cobra Commander. Who are we drawing? This is Ciri from something called The Witcher, and yeah, so she's kind of a knight, you might say, but more like a sellsword. It's hard to say. Yeah, I've read a little bit of Joe Palooka comics. What did you think of the Witcher Netflix show? I've only watched like 3 episodes so far. It's okay. I like the video game a little bit more, and I like the comics a little bit more. I have some of the comics from Poland in Polish, and I have a Polish friend that will be translating it for me. So eventually, I don't want to rush her, but eventually I'll do an episode on that. I haven't finished Witcher 3 either, so don't worry, I won't spoil it. Yeah, a mercenary is... That's why I said a sellsword. I guess I was thinking, what do you call it? Game of Thrones, that's what they call them there. But yeah. She's from, yes, exactly, the show that Henry Cavill is on, as we all know it. And I need to adjust this light up a little bit. I know I have to make some adjustments there, but yeah, it was a little in my face. Shift it over there a little. Get this out of the way. And I'm going to start on the hair because I don't know how thick this pen is yet. I've never used one of these. All right, not as thick as I thought. That's good. That's good. When I try to do like long strokes like this, I try to move my whole arm instead of just like from the wrist. It gives you a little more control over the fluidity of the line. And the only thing that makes it like a little hard when I'm doing this is I'm trying not to hunch over and block the view for you guys. But if I was really drawing, I'd probably like be in a little more close. Like you can't see me now, but my head was like just like really close to the page, and that's how I'll usually do it. I got a bunch of folks on Facebook that are watching. So hello to Lindsay, Justin, DJ, Tan, Chauncey, and I guess my sister's also there. So very cool. You're watching me on 2 platforms at once, Gene? I have not read Monstrous yet, no. I know a lot of people have recommended it, so I did buy it, but I have not had time to read it as of yet. And the reason I'm drawing this character is I just feel like I need to get better at drawing pretty women, so that's what I'm working on today. But it's nice to have so many of you here. Let's see. So we are all stuck in quarantine for the most part. Some of us are still working on the front lines. More power to you guys. Not easy, but it's a tough time for everybody, I know. So, you know, my sympathies for everybody, and it's tough. Did I get the chance to check out New Warriors? Not the new one, if that's what you're talking about. No. Is it any good? I'm curious. It definitely seems like it's got some sort of weird ideas, but I want to give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's cool. Oh, I know something I should mention before I get too far. Myself and many of the other big names in comic book channels on YouTube are going to be hosting a live online comic book convention, basically. Like, we're going to have panels all day on April 18th. April 18th. We're calling it the At-Home Comic-Con, AHCC. So, I will be part of that, and some of the other people that are helping to like organize and run it are Matt Draper, Owen Likes Comics, Comic Drake. There'll be some other big names like Comic Pop and Comic Storian. So there's like about 20 of us, I would say, somewhere around there, and we're going to all be collaborating. Where, when, what time? No, not Linkara for some reason. I'm not sure. I wasn't in charge of like the invites and who responded and who didn't. Sorry. But it's, you know, something that we're all obviously still like sort of working on. Like I say, it's going to be on the 18th. If you go on Twitter or YouTube, you can look up At Home Comic Con and you should be able to find it. Yeah, it's going to be a new channel. Like, each of us that are doing the panels can stream the content to our channel, but it will also be all streamed to one main channel. And the idea here is to provide entertainment for all the people that are either stuck at home or exhausted from work. On top of that, we're going to be raising money for charities that are all related to the pandemic that's going on. I don't have all of those details in front of me right now, but definitely look up on things like Twitter and YouTube, At Home Comic Con, or look up. So the three guys that have been organizing it the most are Matt Draper, Owen Likes Comics, and Comic Drake. So if you look up any of those three, you should be able to find out more information from each of them. But I'm definitely going to be participating. We'll have panels where a bunch of us are all on at the same time, and it'll be probably something like a 12-hour day or something close to that anyway. We'll probably have, you know, like a good number of panels all in a row, different topics, and yeah, hopefully it'll be fun for everybody. But I wanted to plug that. I'll have a comics auction. I mean, that would be fun, Jack. There's a lot of logistics involved in just getting all these people together. Yeah, I did recommend reaching out to Cartoonist Kayfabe, but I don't know if that happened. But I've also tried to like connect with them, and when they were first starting their channel, Ed told me he would be interested in collaborating, but I haven't really been able to talk to him lately, so I don't know if that's something they're still interested in or if they kind of like doing their own thing. So, there's tons of comic book channels out there. Definitely not trying to necessarily exclude anyone. Anyway, I'm not even familiar super much with all of them. The only guys I've really talked, well, I mean, I've talked a little bit to them online at this point, but I don't know their content super well because I think I've mentioned this before. I legit try not to watch comic book related channels for the most part because I don't want their opinions or their ideas for topics to influence me and my show. But I did meet Matt Draper online, and I've watched a couple of his episodes that sort of either cover something that I've already told or something that I'm not going to. I really like his work. I think he's really talented. I know that a lot of people like, Comic Storian is a big channel, and Comic Drake is a big channel, like bigger than mine, I mean. So yeah. Are we going to sell any original art? I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I don't have all, like I said, I'm not one of the guys that's actually organizing this. I'm just going to be a panelist, and we'll have more details coming. I would just say, like, look up some of those channels that I talked to you about, and look up things like At Home Comic Con, especially on Twitter, but also YouTube and other social media. Auctioning stuff off would have to almost be a panel in and of itself, and I think it would. I don't know how realistic that is. Like maybe like a full time convention could organize something like that. We're just trying to focus more on panels and raising money for charity. What we're going to try to do is have that embedded so that people can donate right there through YouTube. But no matter what, guys, I mean, it's going to be like all the big name comic book creators all in one place, all working together, which, I think that's pretty cool. I hope you guys think it's pretty cool. Anyway, don't worry, we're working on it. I just wanted to get the word out right now. Just be aware that that's something that's coming. There will be more details as the days move forward, okay? For now, just be aware that it's a thing that's coming. Be excited. We're going to do our best to entertain and educate. There should be a lot of different types of panels. Something for everybody, ideally. Wish Stan Lee was still around for this event. Yeah, that'd be fun. Will I post about this on YouTube from Comic Tropes? Yeah. I tell you what, like the next episode, I'll mention where you can find more information at the end. So yeah, definitely want to promote it. Read anything good this week? Yeah, I read a couple things that were cool. What did I read? Let me think. I started reading the autobiography of David Bowie with art by Mike Allred. I'm a huge David Bowie fan, so that definitely was cool. Definitely enjoyed that. I still have actually quite a bit to read there, so that's cool. I read a Rick and Morty meets Dungeons and Dragons comic by writer Jim Zub that I found pretty darn hilarious and very authentic to the voice of the show. I was really impressed with how well he captures everybody. So that was fun. I started reading a thing by Gene Lung Yang. Superman defeats the KKK, right? I might have stuttered and added an extra K there. Seems like a lot of people I watch online love Bowie. That should probably tell you something, Clay. David Bowie was amazing. I haven't checked out Adam Strange. I haven't checked out everything. Let's see. Hello, I'm seeing something in Facebook. So hello, Jamar Nicholas. Good work you have going there. Well, that's nice. Jamar Nicholas is a professional cartoonist, and I know on Facebook he and is it Mike Manley that you do it with, Jamar? You do a live stream where you talk comics and do interviews and stuff like that. Wouldn't it be weird if Ezra Miller showed up? Yeah, it would be. Not a good week for Ezra Miller. Okay, got some more people coming from Twitch. Just started reading Astro City for the first time. I think I'm in love with it. Well, Kurt Busiek is a very engaging writer. Very impressive. Where the hell is this streaming? I'm confused. Well, it's streaming right where you're seeing it. B. Clay Moore, professional writer. Oh, Jamar says his show is with Mike Manley and also Brett Blevins. Oh, man. Those are two guys I loved, by the way. And this isn't me buttering up Jamar just because he's in the chat. Like, I grew up reading a lot of comics in the 80s and 90s. And what I liked by each of those guys, Brett Blevins did a run on New Mutants, which is impressive because he was following, like, Bill Sienkiewicz, who's a really impressive artist that I think a lot of people respect. But Brett Blevins has been around forever, and man, he draws some sexy women. Mike Manley was working on Darkhawk. That's where I first discovered him. But I know a lot of my viewers are international, and I've definitely learned from experience that a lot of you like The Phantom, the Ghost Who Walks. Mike is the current artist on that daily strip, so very cool. Yeah, B. Clay Moore is asking where is it streaming. I'm streaming it across several channels. Hey, it's Shabir Ali Khan, also known as codename New202. Did I get that right, Hooded Cobra Commander? And B. Clay Moore is a great writer, somebody that I know in person. I love Clay. First thing of his I think I read was Hawaiian Dick, creator-owned book. But it's hard to remember. It could have been something else. He's done all stuff at, like, DC, Marvel, and all that good stuff. Shabir Ali Khan has a YouTube channel where he discusses the current G.I. Joe comics. So, plenty of people to plug here. Too many. I'm discombobulated. Yeah, the Phantom movie. Not the best. Not the best. Okay, see you, Mandela Butterfly. Thanks for jumping in. Do you think they will try to reboot the Phantom in TV or movies? Absolutely. Wasn't it? I feel like it was just like 3, 4, 5 years ago, somewhere in that time, Sci-Fi Channel tried to do a modern update of the Phantom, and I don't think it went too well. But yeah, that's a property that's gonna keep being reimagined for a long, long time to come. I think I got distracted plugging people, and I don't know if I made it clear. Vampy Vicious Circle, Clay mentions. Yes, he wrote a Vampirella story, probably the most famous Vampirella story, Vampy Vicious Circle. I'm being sarcastic, but Clay deserves it. This is streaming across 4 channels for me. The main one is on YouTube, to my Pros and Cons channel, but I've got a Twitch channel, Comic Tropes on Twitch. I've got my Facebook. It just streams to my personal Facebook, because why not? And then it streams to Periscope through Twitter. So the Comic Tropes Twitter page. They should do Defenders of the Earth movie. Yeah, maybe. Bear with me, I need to get in a little closer for some of this detail. Anyway, I'm grateful to have anybody here, and I'm grateful to have all of you here, so thank you. I'm wanted. Let's see. Come on, the movie was entertaining. Billy Zane was an interesting lead. Yeah, Billy Zane is a little underrated. Look, I was into Christy Swanson when it came out. Billy Zane was fun. The Phantom just could have been better. I'll tell you this. Bruce Campbell was in the running for playing the Phantom. I think he would have made a pretty awesome Phantom. That would have been cool. Let's see. Shabir says, I shared about how IDW has issued a stop on their IDW, a Real American Hero G.I. Joe book. Let's see. I'm sure that G.I. Joe will be back. I understand your concern, but I think it's really just a matter of a lot of books have to be paused right now because there isn't a definitive distribution system locked in place. DC and Marvel may be able to reach out to, other channels to distribute their comics. Even if they can, some of the smaller publishers are going to have a much harder time. And then on top of that, there's not that many comic book stores that are open right now. So, I think that it's just being paused because they can't get it into people's hands. Campbell campaigned jokingly for playing Kingdom Come Superman. Well, I'll see Bruce Campbell in anything, literally anything. He's such an entertaining guy. But, who did a good job playing basically the Kingdom Come Superman was Brandon Routh in that Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover on CW. That was pretty entertaining. So a lot of us are dealing with, just trying to stay safe, not get sick, etc. It made me think of the times in my life where I've been the sickest. I mean, I'm sure we've all had some sort of a serious cold or something, maybe the flu, but the sickest I've ever been was I came down with vertigo once, and I was bedridden completely for 3 weeks, and then another week where I could just sort of stumble around. It was terrible. Just constantly dizzy, constantly felt like everything was spinning. Never, ever stopped. I got a prescription for something called, what was it called? I'm going to forget because it's been so many years, but something like meclizine or something like that. And all that does was it does not stop you from feeling dizzy, but it stops the nausea that would be caused by the constant dizziness. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. That was the sickest I've ever been. I don't know about you guys out there. Like, if somebody out there is like, yeah, I've been sicker than that, like, I'd be kind of curious to hear what you've had to deal with. But the sickest I've ever been was vertigo, and just a nightmare. Like, just so scary, because I was like, is this ever going to stop? And it did. Thank God. Thank Crom. But yeah. So that was the worst I ever got. I'm reading Black Hole right now. Can you recommend other Charles Burns works? Oh, I love Charles Burns, but what else would I recommend for him? Give me a minute to quickly Google because it's just not coming to me. But as soon as I see a title, I'll have a recommendation. I got to meet Charles Burns once at the Small Press Comics Expo, Small Press Expo, SPX. My favorite convention. Really interesting guy. X'd Out. It might stand for crossed out, but it's X'd Out. That's a really cool one. Skin Deep is cool. There's so many good ones. Big Baby. Skin Deep. Last Look. Yeah, the Black Hole's probably my favorite, though, if I'm being honest. Black Hole's... Oh, I know what else I saw him in. Raw. That used to be a cool underground comics magazine. Raw. So if you can ever find any of those, that's pretty dope. Is there any way to get Diabolic comics in English? Not that I've ever seen, actually. I have a Diabolic comic from Italy, but I can't read Italian. A friend went there and he picked it up for me just because he knows I like comics, so that was cool. But yeah. Anyway, so that was the sickest I ever got, was just dealing with vertigo. The closest after that would be, I also had mono, and that was nightmarish. I don't know if any of you have had to get that. The worst thing about mono is it gives you the Epstein-Barr virus, which never leaves your system. It makes you always tired. So I am, like, on top of my depression and stuff that I talked about dealing with, I always have the Epstein-Barr virus in my system, which just makes me feel very exhausted almost at all times. So that was another one. Like, mono basically gives you the worst sore throat you can imagine. It's hard to even get down water. It's very, very hard to get down water. So that was pretty bad too. That was painful, but it didn't last as long, and I knew it would pass, like the throat stuff. But it was the most painful thing. The most physically painful. I saw a Pauly Shore movie and I was sick for days. Yeah, there you go, James. Sickest I've ever been was from opiate withdrawals. Damn, James, that sounds serious. Thanks for sharing. I can't imagine what that's like, to be honest. I hope the music in the background isn't annoying to you. I kind of have gotten, over the last year or two, onto a little kick of synthwave. Just kind of find it relaxing somehow and exciting at the same time. What are a couple of your favorite books to start learning how to draw? Oh, I did read a lot as a kid. I'm trying to think. I mean, I think one of the ones that you really can learn from is How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way by John Buscema. It's pretty awesome. Pretty good book. I wouldn't say I learned a lot from, like, books about how to draw, but what was his name? When I was really young, there was a guy named... Might have been... And I'm trying to remember, because I'm talking like I'm young, like around 5 years old. There's something called... My best guess is Richard Emberlin. But what he would try to do is, like, teach you just how to draw from shapes, like how to form shapes into characters, people, animals. It was really good as a kid. Yeah, I don't know. I think I learned a lot from just... Some of it from, like, just sort of copying what I liked, like looking at stuff by, like, guys like Will Eisner when I was young. But also... taking actual classes like life drawing. Just life drawing, I think, taught me the most. So is this lady you're drawing a swordswoman? Yeah, she's a swordswoman, all right. And what I'm going to do is ink this in. We'll have some fun doing that. I'll keep telling stories, and then I'll probably throw down some Copics to give it some color. See what I can do with that. You remember those books, Matthew? I don't know if I'm remembering the author's name right. She looks a bit like Red Sonja. Maybe a little. She's got, like, sort of silver hair, which sort of seems to be a trope within fantasy, but yeah. She probably wears a little bit more than Red Sonja. Any Red Sonja books worth checking out? Probably. The only ones I've perused were the Gail Simone ones. I thought it was interesting. I didn't really read any others, so I'm not... I know about Conan, but I don't know too much about Red Sonja, to be honest. I'm not an expert with Red Sonja. So if anybody else out there is, feel free to throw in... what James should check out regarding Red Sonja. one thing I can tell you guys about the channel that, like, from this past week is every day I get offers for ads or like to review a comic or something, and I explain, no, I'm sorry, that's not what I do with the channel. But it is at the point where I get the offers from the ones that you see everywhere, like NordVPN and what else? This new game, Raid something or other. I can't remember what it's called. But I'm still telling them no for now. I just, as long as possible, I'd love to keep paid sponsorships out to be able to focus on the content. It is a little tougher right now just because I'm on furlough from my job. What does that mean? Furlough is where the company hasn't let you go, but they're not giving you any hours. So I'll have my job back when business returns to normal, but for now I'm collecting unemployment as of like 1 day ago. It's hard to remember at this point. Frustrating. Not a fun process to go through. So basically YouTube is my income right now. Red Sonja had a movie in which she co-starred with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, but strangely he was not playing Conan. Very strange. I have to get on Zoom to attend a meeting. All right, good luck, James. I came in a little late. Are you drawing Ciri from The Witcher? I sure am, Iman. I sure am. Raid Shadow Legends. Yeah, I think that's the one. Glad you stay away from Nord. They've had major security issues. Well, that is part of it. You know, I feel like if I'm going to ever accept a sponsor or something, I'm going to vet them as well as I can. And right now, I don't want to bother doing that. I'm not going to just advertise something to you guys that I don't trust. So, it's good times, huh? I shouldn't be pushing the line. I should focus on pulling it. You have more control that way. I think I'm just going to use this pen for the outlines because it is kind of thicker than at first I was feeling it was, but now that I've got a better feel for it, it's pretty thick. So I'm going to use that for my sort of outline and foreground elements, and try to take it from there. Get that app game money. Yeah, I just rather not deal with it. You know what I need? I need to drink. So bear with me. I'm going to open up a Chateau Saint Michel Cabernet Sauvignon. Who's thick? I don't know. Who's thick? While I'm doing that, what else can I talk about? When I just sort of wake up in the days, I'm like, no real plans to get out of the house and do anything. So it makes me feel a little bit stuck. It made me think of when I first moved out here about 3.5 years ago. I moved from DC, so I was moving across the country, and my company that hired me was paying for transportation, but only up to a certain amount. So we had to be frugal with some of our expenses, Chrissy and I. And one of them that I wish we hadn't gone quite so frugal on was shipping our car across the country. We sort of went with the lowest bidder. And we did get the, what do you call it? We did eventually get our car, but the communication was not good, and it was so sketch. It was so sketch. So, like, the deal we got, like, said, hey, it'll be put on, you know, the car carrier in front of you. That will be the same carrier that will deliver it. It won't be moved to another thing. When it arrived, like, we had put it on a, like, 18 car carrier. It came on a single bed vehicle. We're like, that's not right. I don't know if we want to sign for this. On top of that, there was about like 18 extra miles added to the car, and inside it was covered in dust, like from the vents. Like they'd been driving it out. Oh shit, it's almost, the cork broke. Hold on. Looks like I didn't cork it yet, but that's frustrating. This is never easy to undo. Oh well. It was all I can say is it was Russians. And there's a part of me that just like wonders, I'm like, were they smuggling something or other? Like, why did my car get moved when they said it wouldn't? Why did my car have extra miles on it? It was just, the whole thing was so sketchy. All I can say out of this is, like, don't go with the lowest bidder for everything. That was dumb. Yeah, someday, Bazooka, I'll definitely talk about Joe Kubert. He's a huge name. That's a bit funny. No, it's totally funny. That's a stubborn cork. Been there, yeah. Looks like I got it. Okay. Phew. Just should have drilled in deeper before I took it out. Yeah, that Seinfeld. Exactly. What was happening with my car? Oh, that smells lovely. Chateau Saint Michel is a local vineyard, and I think that they sort of specialize in a lot of Rieslings. It's a sweet white grape that's local here. I'm just going to drink from the bottle. I know that's tacky as hell, but that's what I'm going to do. Always drill deep. Just good advice in general. Oh, that is good. I'm trying to sort of like actually taste the first sip. I just took a small sip and I'm letting it sit on my palate. Smoother than a lot of cabs. I mean, it's got some strong notes of like it's got some strong grape notes, but it's smoother. It doesn't necessarily have a bite. My sister, I think, thinks I'm being very tacky, but what can I say? That's who I am sometimes. Tell you what, let's do a Mad Lib. The way this is going to work is first person to answer is what I will use. I'm just going to open up to a random page. Let me grab a pen. All right, adjective. Somebody, whoever shouts out the first adjective, I'll use. Come on, give me something good. Be creative. Be weird. Or be offensive. I don't care. I'm looking at the chats. Okay, tacky. I don't know if that's my sister talking about me or giving a suggestion. I'll start using these others for other things. Okay, fat. Just pause now. Let me put these in. Oh, get over it, Gene. I'm just having a drink. It's nice. Okay. Now, okay, hold on. Chris Mararak has a suggestion. But I ran out of adjectives. Sorry, Chris. I don't need any more adjectives for this one. Noun. I need a noun. So somebody give me a person, place, or thing. Person, place, or thing. Jack, that is an adverb. I need a noun. All right, we got a bunch here. So pause again. I've got a bunch. I've got a bunch. Let me put these in. Oh boy. I hope this is funny. All right. I used up all the nouns from all these suggestions. All right. Now I need a verb. Somebody give me a verb. Hope you're all ready for these. I'm checking. I only need 2 verbs, so okay. Got one. Next one. Okay, I got it. And finally, I need an adverb. It's a descriptor that usually ends in ly. You know, like angrily. This is going to be a mess. Yeah, this is going to be a total mess. This is going to be pretty dumb. But I like Mad Libs quite a bit. All right, I've got my adverbs. I'll do more in a bit, guys. But let's see what I got here. Some of these are completely unfunny in the context, which makes it, to me, actually funny. All right, here we go. This is called White Elephant Gift Exchange. A tacky elephant gift exchange is a party where everyone brings... Oh, I forgot a noun. Hold on. Somebody gets to shout out... Oh, I've already got one here. Okay. I got one. Let's start over. All right. A tacky elephant gift exchange is a party where everyone brings a tortoise that they don't want. If you play with your fat trumps... I did this badly. If you play with your fat trumps, it can be a lot of fun. Here are the wiped rules for playing. Everyone brings a ghost to the party. The ghost must be something that you don't want. All the knives must be wrapped and placed lazily under the tree. Give each pizza a number and place those numbers in a butt. Everyone selects a number. Ugh, rough. The person with the most introspective number selects a gift. What would be the most introspective number? Probably 7. The person with the next highest number can either spank that gift or pick a new one. Continue kissing gifts. It's so dumb that I'm laughing. Continue kissing gifts or selecting new ones based on the numbers until everyone has played. Laughing at your parks as they open their terrible gifts is seriously encouraged. It's seriously encouraged. Oh, that was pretty dumb. Hello, Mr. 32 Hunter. Let's do another one. Let me see. Let's try to go more offensive. Or at least potty humor. Okay? I'm trying to find a good one. Sounds like an Oingo Boingo song, yeah. See, I don't know what some of these stories are about. Okay. Give me a verb. What's on the TV? Just synthwave. Copyright-free synthwave. Who's got a verb? Oop. Okay. Got a bunch, so you guys can stop. I've got enough. Okay. I used as many as I could. Adjective. I'm going to need some adjectives. Okay. Adjectives. Got one. Who else has a good adjective? Okay. That's plenty. That's a lot. It's hard for me to keep up. Okay. Now I need a noun. Somebody give me a noun. Ha. I love wine. Okay, this is too many. I'm good. Okay, I'm good. Let's see. Let me just make sure that I've... okay, so I need one more word, an adverb. Whoever gets it up first, I'm going to use that as the adverb. And I'm sorry I can't use everything right now, but I appreciate everybody contributing. We're going to have this is going to be a good one. All right, I've got the adverb. Thank you, everyone. Let me make sure I put everything in. Okay, we're good. Get ready, everybody. I'm going to read you a story. I'm going to look at you this time. This is called Halloween Preparations. It's time to celebrate Halloween at the park, and Benson has everyone fishing. Oh, has everyone fishing hard to make sure that all the high decorations are putrid enough for the park visitors. Skips is building a sly house, and Muscle Man is filling it with flopping ghosts, twitching sharks, and a creepy jack-o'-shits. Mordecai and Rigby are hunting together to make a sign that is stinky enough to read from the entrance to the bathroom. High Five Ghost is responsible for getting all his grouchy friends and family to float ferociously around the haunted house and scare the dogs. And Pops is in charge of his favorite turd, getting lots of candy for all the homicide victims. Once the haunted house is finished, Thomas will be collecting tickets from all the visitors who want to be scared out of their canoe. Out of their canoe? Oh, that's crazy! Oh, Mad Libs, you've done it again. All right. Back to drawing for now. And if we get tired or distracted, we can always pull up more delightful Mad Libs. Let's hear it for the Mad Libs. Oh, let's give them all a chance. Let's see if anyone enjoyed that at all. Ever shot a gun? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I used to own a bunch, but, with my depression, I eventually decided that, I didn't want to have them in the house. Statistically, there's a huge risk for anybody that has guns to be in danger of using them in a suicide or something. So I just said, I'm good, and I sold them. And I'm glad I did. I don't miss them. I mean, I did like shooting at targets, but I didn't need guns. I'd like to say you the homie. Thank you. That was fun. Do an illustrated version. Yeah. Chris has seen Footloose. Yeah, I have. Have you ever used Alvin Techliner pens? No, I haven't. I'm afraid I am not familiar with those. But I'm always up for trying new things. Alvin Techliner. No, that'd be new to me. Hope you guys are doing well. Anybody out there have a piece of like good news? Anything like good happened to them lately? Love hearing stuff like that. It's few and far between these days, but when it's out there, it's lovely to hear. Footloose needed a Marvel Comics adaptation. Well, sure. I told myself I was going to sit and draw while you are, but now I'm too busy watching you. Stop watching me. Just draw. Just listen. I got Persona 5 the Royale a few days ago. It is amazing and I love it. Well, then that's good news. Ever read the Alice Cooper comics? I can't say that I have. No, I can't say that I have. I kind of like Alice Cooper here and there. I can't say that I'm like a fan, but there's a couple things by Alice Cooper that I enjoy. And I'm a fan of the Friday the 13th movies. Alice Cooper did Man Behind the Mask for part 6. Ridiculous song, but I enjoyed it. I have read Godzilla in Hell. At least if it's the one I'm thinking of. Was that by James Sticco? If so, then I'm thinking of it. Yeah, he was in a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. That's right. Was it part... It was either part 5 or 6, I want to say, but I can't quite remember right now. Alice Cooper was great on The Muppet Show. There you go. Prince of Darkness. Yeah, the Prince of Darkness is the John Carpenter movie, right? Hey, Chris is also drawing while I draw. And Iman says, I left Phoenix, Arizona to live in the mountains in New Mexico. I think that's pretty good news. Well, then that's awesome. That's awesome. I hope you enjoy, man. That's great. The one with the Freddy backstory. Each of them sort of added to the Freddy backstory. You know what? No, that was... Alice Cooper played his abusive father. Freddy's abusive father. That was... I think that might have been part 4, actually. I think that might have been part 4. It's 5? Okay. It's hard to remember at a certain point. Hello, Terry. I've seen all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. 1 is great. 1 is legit great. 3 is also quite good. After that, the next one that I kind of get anything out of might have been New Nightmare, just because it definitely offered something different. So that was the 7th one. And then I like Freddy vs. Jason for what it was. What else can I talk about? I don't like it when I get quiet like that. I get engrossed in what I'm drawing, and is that Baby Yoda on the TV behind you? No. Nope. Sorry. That's just lights. Freddy, yeah, let's see. I'd say 1, 3, and New Nightmare are the only ones that could be considered good films. But for some reason, I love 4. Yeah, 4 still is entertaining. 5 and 6 are honestly where it gets the worst. Well, also that remake was quite bad, unfortunately. And then what else was said there? James said that he met Robert Englund at a horror convention. That's cool. That's cool. What do I know about Virgil Finlay? I just learned about him a few days ago watching a sticker video. Anyway, I thought he's a good guy to do a video of. I'll be honest, off the top of my head, I don't think I know who Virgil Finlay is. Sometimes I'm bad at names, so it's possible I know something and I'm not remembering it properly, but off the top of my head, I don't think I know who that person is. I am really bad at hair, I think. That's part of why I'm trying to do this. I want to get better at certain things, but not looking amazing. Robert Englund was awesome as Scarecrow in Injustice 2. Oh, did he do that? That sounds cool. Has he ever been in a superhero movie? I can't think of Robert Englund in a superhero movie off the top of my head, but it's possible. Can't think of one, though. It looks a little cleaner. Have I read League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's good. Well, I like the first one. The second one's okay. After that, Great pen and ink artist in the mid-20th century. Okay, cool. I'll try to remember that. Finlay. Okay. I like all the Nightmare movies except the last one with the guy who played Rorschach. Yeah, that one wasn't too good at all. And you know what? It had a good cast. I think it legit had a good cast, but not a good movie. Just their interpretation of Freddy wasn't as interesting. Thanks for all the awesome content. I love your channel. I'm off to draw. Good. That sounds productive, Iman. I hope it goes well. Yeah, anyone that's taken off to draw, like, I salute you. That's productive. Jackie Earle Haley, yeah. Did you see the Scream Queen documentary about the star of Nightmare 2? Um, are you talking about the lead male actor? Because if so, I think I did. I think Robert Englund's only done superhero cartoons, so he did do a superhero cartoon. Did I watch the Watchmen show on HBO? Some of it. I don't have HBO, so like, but I got like a friend let me watch some of it at their place. So, some of it seemed good. Um, yeah. Oh, let's see. Looks like the music stopped, so play another one. There we go. I'm currently drawing at the moment. I stopped to watch your stream. Well, good, Terry. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Do your best Judge Dredd impression. Well, my best impression would have to like be a parody of like Sylvester Stallone's Judge Dredd, where he's like, "I am the law. Throw down your weapons and prepare to be judged." I knew you'd say that. I thought that Stallone's Judge Dredd was a fairly entertaining movie for what it was, but not a very good adaptation of Judge Dredd. At that point in the 90s, we kind of were settling for what we could get, but yeah, the Carl Urban one was much better. Even though it had a much more modest budget, it just felt way more authentically Judge Dredd. I liked I liked his take on the material quite a bit. I would love to see a sequel to the Carl Urban Dredd. Oh, I know, I would too. I think it's a little too late. I think that like time has passed, that's not going to happen. At this point, it just no, it just wasn't a big enough hit. But I liked it. I'm glad we at least got that, because it is a good movie. It's very entertaining. I have not read Full Metal Alchemist. Sorry, not familiar with that one. Dredd is eternal. Oh, I think that there could be another Judge Dredd movie someday. No question. I just think whoever owns it would at that point, the rights to the movie. I just don't think that they'd be likely to go back to Carl Urban. And you know what? I think he's up for it, but I'm just being realistic. I just don't think that would happen. But hey, I'm just grateful that we even got one. Sometimes you don't get anything. I thought that was a good Judge Dredd movie. It really was. I'd love to see that same character deal with, a block war. I'd love to see him deal with the Cursed Earth. I'd love to see him visit, like, a different mega city. You know, corruption amongst the dread the judges. I'd love to see stuff like that with the same character, but just being realistic, I don't think it's going to happen. Judge Death, exactly. That would be really cool to get to that point. Why they don't let the people who made Dredd do the RoboCop remake is beyond me. In a lot of ways, RoboCop is an American version of Judge Dredd. In a lot of ways, it definitely shares a lot of the same DNA in terms of its satire and its sort of embrace of fascism as the heroes and all that. So yeah, there's a lot of similarities there. Dredd series on Netflix. Sure, that could be cool. Yeah, I've heard of the Human Fly, that real life guy that like would climb buildings and stuff like that. Sure. Speaking of real life superheroes, some of you know this. When I first moved across the country, the only person I knew really, for the most part, was Phoenix Jones, the real life superhero. I'd interviewed him a couple years before. And so I was hanging out with him when I moved out here socially, and I just sort of got wrapped up in his whole deal. And for a while, for a year about, I was doing the whole real life superhero thing. It was a guy called Omega, and I patrolled. So I would love to do a little story time. Let me give you an option. I could tell you a story of... I've got a million stories. I've got a million stories from that time. And I want to make a comic book about it someday. Like just tell the actual story. But I could tell you about a car chase. I could tell you about a fist fight. I could tell you about recovering drugs. Or I could tell you about finding a lost person. So those are... I wouldn't call him a psychopath. No, that's overstating things. Is he a flawed guy? Absolutely. Absolutely. I wouldn't call him a psychopath. No, that implies, intentional malicious. I'm not going to tell all of them right now. I'll tell one. Like I said, car chase, fist fight, finding a lost person, or recovering drugs. Let's see what the votes are. So throw in your vote. I'm seeing, let's see, car chase, fist fight. 1, 2, 3. Got 3 for car chase, 2 for fist fight. 3 and 3. Now I've got 2 for finding a lost person. I've got another for car chase. Another for fist fight. Okay. At the last minute, it looks like fist fight has won, unless there's any other. Okay. Lost person, fight, car chase, drugs, lost person. Fist fight. Okay. I got more than one, so let me think for a minute. One thing I should explain was, first of all, I don't recommend doing this, like dressing up as a superhero and trying to solve crimes. Now, I've got some more votes here. Fist fight in Facebook. Okay, it's going to be fist fight. It's very hard to understand the laws of what you are allowed to do as a citizen, because that's what I was, okay? And I did, and Phoenix told us all to. I don't know if everybody on the team did, but he told us to read the municipal laws of Seattle where we patrolled, and I did. And, you weren't allowed to, like, proactively start a fight. You're allowed to defend yourself. Washington is defined as a mutual combat state, which means if both parties consent to a fight and they're not endangering any bystanders and the police are overseeing it, you can do that. But sometimes have I ever been sucker punched? I don't think so. No, I don't think anybody's caught me unaware. And when I came out, I was a much different person than I sort of am right now. I had been working out for 2 hours a day at that point. I did like the insanity workout every day during my lunch break, every day. And then at night, I had a trainer, a personal trainer. Duels, fist fight duels are legal in Washington if both parties consent. Anyway, so I was... Oh, and I had also been doing like Krav Maga for, I don't know, over 2 years, maybe 3. In other words, I was probably in the best physical shape of my life, and I'd been practicing a martial system of combat, of self-defense. And I felt like I could handle myself. I had a certain level of confidence. So anyway, I was out there patrolling. And one of the big days that we got ready for was called May Day. And a lot of cities have May Day. It dates back quite a few years, and essentially has to do with labor rights. But that said, a lot of times when these parades go on, there are people that are like way further on the spectrum that are using it as an excuse to incite anarchy. There are literally organized anarchists, which sounds actually, now that I say it, like a bit of a oxymoron. Organized anarchists, but they are. And they plan to start fights with the police. They plan to destroy public property, etc. And I support like the May Day like labor movement, but obviously I'm not for violence and breaking the laws. And we prepared for this, and we patrolled through the city for the whole day on May Day. And we encountered some stuff, nothing too exciting worth like really telling a story about. But at the end of the day, whenever we finished our patrols, we'd always have this system where at least 2 people go back to like a vehicle or drop somebody off in a vehicle from another vehicle, that kind of thing. Like we make sure that we all get home safely. We don't just all go off on our own. So, what does that mean? It just means that like at the end of the day, you were done, you know? And we'd hit the end of our day. We were all pretty exhausted. And I'm trying to remember now, because it's a few years ago. I've got notes on this so that I can look it up, but for some reason, I walked my fellow superhero, I don't know what to call him, Boomer, back to his car, and then walked all the way back to mine. And I took a shortcut through an area that we called Glass Alley, that was called that because people would like break into cars quite a bit. There were no like security cameras. It wasn't well lit. It was a sort of rough area within the Capitol Hill section of Seattle. And it was at night, and I was cutting through there, and a pair of people that were like anarchists, and they could sort of be identified sometimes because they would wear like black balaclavas or bandanas and sunglasses and stuff, and they were like shouting, yeah, this is in Seattle. No, I don't have guns. I never went out with like any sort of weapon like that. It was, you know, if I was in a fight and like I had weapons like that, I could get myself in a hell of a lot of trouble. So no, I never had weapons like that. That was a strict no-no with our group. No knives, no guns. What I did have was I had weighted gloves. They were like leather gloves, fingerless leather gloves. They had lead in the knuckles. And 2 guys started like talking crap to me. And I'm like, Jesus. But they weren't causing property damage or anything, and I can take an insult. Like, that doesn't matter. They don't know who I am. I don't really know who they are. So I was content to ignore them, especially where I was by myself. But they were looking for a fight, no question about it, because they got right up in my face. They crossed the street, came up to me, got in my face, were like shouting insults at me, and one of them threw a punch. I saw it coming a mile away. It was like a sloppy, like, you know, like wind up type punch, you know, like a big looping hook. All I had to do was, you know, like, you know, keep my arms out, blocked it, boom. I just do a jab straight forward with weighted gloves, punched him right in the neck. Just a jab. Boom. He dropped. I've never seen somebody drop that fast. It was like he had weights on him or something. All of us, like, the dude just dropped. And I'm like, I'm just defending myself. Like, I'm saying to the other guy, I'm like, do you really want this? Because I'm on adrenaline. But, you know, I'm like, do you want this? And the other guy is like, you know, like, F you. And he's just like trying to get his friend like to revive. And I just walked away. So that was it. Not much of a fist fight. It wasn't like a lot of back and forth. I've had other things that are more intense, but it was scary in a way, because it was two guys, didn't see anybody else around at all. Yeah, like, you don't know how it's going to go. Like, I legit was trying to be a good person, and I didn't want to cause somebody else pain. I didn't want to be the bad guy, But I felt like that was the most clear-cut case of self-defense out of, like, all the things that I got involved in. I think that was really clear, and I don't really feel bad about what I did at all, because I had to defend myself. Now, did I put myself in that position, you could argue, simply by being dressed up in a colorful costume on a day like that? Maybe. I don't know. I wasn't out there to cause trouble. I was there to prevent issues, That was my goal. And anyway, it got weird at the very end of the night there. But that's how it was some nights. So that's a quick fist fight. People that are stoned have no impulse control. I don't think he was inebriated. I don't think he was drunk. I came across a lot of people that were inebriated, that were like sort of looking for a fight, but you could basically de-escalate them almost always. Almost always you could de-escalate it. You could like back up, have your distance. My mistake may have been allowing this guy to get that close to me, to get in my face. But he threw a punch. It was easy to block, and I just jabbed, and he dropped. So that was a pretty fast interaction. But I would call it a fight. If you would start a new superhero career, would you be known as the Koi King? I would never do this again. I learned my lesson. It was like, was I doing good? Sometimes. I did help people that were like injured or drunk, like help them get home safe or de-escalated a fight. I did that, and I feel good about that. But I also felt like the reason I decided that I would put on a superhero costume and go out with Phoenix Jones was I legit thought we would be able to somehow act as a symbol, sort of get publicity, and people would maybe start being kinder or more aware. And I got disillusioned that was really getting accomplished. I started going like, you know what? I can help people. Like, if I see somebody getting in a fight, I can intercede as myself. I don't need to have on a costume. I can donate money to charity and cause a lot of good, like help a lot of people that would like, homeless people or people that are poor are often the ones that'll try to like, rob things. If I'm helping them from being in that place, yeah, I am the symbol. The Max House says hi, and we all miss you. I miss you guys. I miss you a lot. I was just telling a silly story of when I was a real-life superhero. So I just sort of felt like at a certain point, like, I wasn't necessarily doing anything as a superhero that I couldn't do as like a real-life person, and that maybe as a person, like, I could just focus on donating more money to charity and preventing some of this stuff before it ever became an issue. And I have, like, as just a person, like, run and interceded in fights. Like, the average person kind of keeps their distance, and you probably should. But, yeah, that's not me. I sort of run towards any sort of chaos these days. I did sort of train myself to not, like, my adrenaline won't really get up, for the most part, in an intense situation anymore. I will basically, like, run right into a situation and stay pretty calm. That's the only good thing to come from all of that. Maybe not the only thing. Like I said, sometimes I help people that have been injured. I saw people, like one time, I saw a taxi cab hit 4 people that were crossing the street. I don't know how he didn't see them. I mean, it is at night, but still. He hit 4 people. One of them pretty damn bad. And the guy was ready to leave. I had my other fellow superhero. I told him, Jack, stand behind that taxi. Do not let him leave. Because he got back in his car and he was about to back up. I'm like, nope. And call the police. And I administered first aid to the person. And the police came and gave a statement. And I had to give a written statement as myself for a court case. That was nuts. Was this close to the College District of Seattle? Yeah, I would say most of it was. All right, back to drawing a little bit, but yeah. Thanks for letting me tell a story, folks. Back to drawing a, hopefully, pretty lady. Did the music stop? No, there's more. Okay. Bunch of my coworkers apparently are in the stream right now, so awesome to have you guys here. Sincerely miss getting to see your faces and joke around and sort of know what's going on in your lives. I hope you guys are all doing well. I definitely miss you. Legit. Best part of my job is my coworkers. I was about to say was, but we'll be going back. We'll all be going back. I miss working. I like to feel useful. I assume most people do, but I don't feel right staying at home these days. I feel kind of almost useless. I mean, at least I've still got comic tropes that I'm working hard on. But yeah. I hate going to work. I don't want to anymore. Oh yeah, well, if you have to right now, I totally get it, Jason. That sounds tough. Did you hear about people are complaining about a non-canon graphic novel that have the Batman characters in high school? No. You're saying somebody other than DC is printing a Batman comic? That sounds like it'd get shut down really fast. Got confused what you meant there. I guess I just completely forgot about the pandemic right now. Good for you, man. If you can forget for even a little bit, that's great. Because we are all in a tough situation here. I still work, but from home. Okay, yep. Nice to sleep late, but work and home are melting together. I know. Gotham High. Oh, it is from DC. No, I haven't read it. I'm sorry. I don't know what that one is. My bad. Something I'm not up to date on. Where's that music at? Come on. Cue up the next song already. There we go. I got hired at a cinema and then fired 2 weeks later. Oh, that's brutal. That is brutal. I'm so sorry. That is terrible timing. I hope you're able to collect unemployment or something right now. I don't know. I wish I had answers right now, but I don't. This is unprecedented. I just hope you guys are all, being patient with one another and staying home as much as possible. I'm hearing stories about families letting the cousin visit or something. It's like, no, guys, you don't know who's sick and who isn't. That's the whole point of trying to stay home. I hadn't been out for 11 days and it was time to get some groceries, had to. I put on a mask. We're lucky. Chrissy found some really good masks that she had from doing sort of construction and painting and stuff. So they're higher than the N95. So I've got a mask. I put on gloves. I went out, just got my essentials, got home, disinfected the things that I bought just in case, got in the shower and did my laundry. Just didn't take any chances. And it sounds extreme, but at the same time, it won't sound extreme if I'm able to make this through without getting sick. You know what I mean? I'd rather err on the side of caution, because would I recover? Probably. If I got sick? Probably. But it's said that it can do, even if you get it and recover, that you can have permanent damage to either your lungs or brain because of the issues that it can cause. I don't want to risk that. So yeah, but anyway, enough about that serious talk. Let me think of another story to tell. What's another story? You found your respirator masks. Nice. From the 2018 wildfires. Totally remember that. Let's see. I took masks from work. I needed them before the outbreak too because of they use irritating chemicals. Okay, I don't quite know what that means. Also heard people on social media are upset at Mike Mignola is going to work on an Earthworm Jim. He is. You know what? Like, Doug TenNapel is a disappointment for me because he's, you know, it's okay to be religious, but I don't appreciate like what I call bigotry. I think what most people would. I know he wouldn't. But I do think he's pretty anti-gay, and I'm not cool with that. Why am I disappointed? Because I had discovered his comic Creature Tech back in the day and thought it was really cool. He's definitely a talented artist, and he's, you know, got some cool stuff, but there's some people that basically, like, they're so far different than me politically that I can't quite get past it. I know some people can. I can't. That's disappointing to hear that Mike Mignola is working with him, just because Mignola is one of my all-time favorites. Remove the artist from the art. I've heard that before, Jason. I've heard that, and I think it's true to an extent, but I'm not going to completely dissociate it. Like, I'm not going to ever be able to enjoy Hitler's paintings. You might find them interesting from a historical context, but I'm never going to be able to look at it and go like, cool. I'm just not. There's a line. Creature Tech was the one with Alien Jesus. Sort of, yeah. And people are entitled to their opinions, even unpopular ones. People are entitled to their opinions, but they're not entitled to hurt others. Like, your freedom to swing your fist stops at my nose, you know? So when you say things, like when you espouse dangerous rhetoric to demonize other people, there's a limit to what's okay there. And I know some of you will disagree with me here, and I'm not saying I'm 100% right all the time. I can't get on the same page. I've got a personal story too, of him treating a friend of mine really badly, so I don't need to get into it. I'm not trying to poison the well if you're a fan, but I cannot get on the same page there. Sorry, I am not on the same page. Let's see, what's another story I could say? You know what I'm curious about? What are some of you guys' favorite comic book stores? Doesn't have to be one that you shop at regularly. Could be anyone that you've ever gone to. Because growing up, I loved New England comics, especially the one in Quincy, Massachusetts. It was really exciting to go there. That's where I really discovered a lot of stuff about comics when I was not even quite a teenager, like a preteen. But over the years, I've been fortunate enough to shop at like some other stores in different cities that I've either lived in or visited, as well as, lived in or visited. And there's some great stores. Some of them aren't around anymore. You know which one I really loved was Meltdown in LA. That was a very good store. I missed that one. Mandarake, there's a lot of them in Tokyo, well, actually throughout Japan. But there's one in Shibuya, the Shibuya section of Tokyo that I really like. So Mandarake is a really awesome store. I like the Forbidden Planet Comics in London that's over near, what's the name of that square? Trafalgar Plaza? That's a pretty cool store. I love cool comic book stores. Let's see. Meltdown was cool. Sad to say a lot of my favorite comic stores have shut down over the years. It happens. A store in Minneapolis called Golden. Yep. Wasn't my store, but my chiropractor had a huge comic collection in the basement of his practice. Oh, wow. That's wild. I'm trying to think of other ones that I've really enjoyed over the years. In Northern Virginia near DC, there was Laughing Ogre that was pretty good. Third Eye Comics in Annapolis is pretty amazing. That one's definitely a highlight of a great store. What else is a great store? Comics and Figure Addict, Space Cat, which are in the Cali Bay area, Midtown Comics. Oh, Midtown Comics. Yeah, I really like Midtown Comics whenever I'm in New York. I pretty much always visit Midtown. I just like it. The Trafalgar Square store, I checked that out when I visited in 2001. Yeah, it's a good one, Scott. It's a good one. James orders a lot online. That's cool. My LCS owners keep talking about a trip to the Pittsburgh comic shops. Phantom of the Attic. I may have been there before. I definitely hit up a few comic book stores when I was in Pittsburgh. But, oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I have not been to Pittsburgh. I've been to Philadelphia. Excuse me. As soon as I said it, I was like, wait, this doesn't sound right. I have not been to Pittsburgh. Sorry. Sold a lot of your comics? Yeah, I sold all of mine just about when I moved across the country 3.5 years ago. It was just time. I had like about 30 long boxes. I kept about one, maybe 1.5 worth, just of things that are like, a little more sentimental. But I sold pretty much all my comics when I moved. It was just time. That was just too big a collection. I sold a lot of collections at that time. I had a big Transformers and G.I. Joe collection as well, but I sold all of that when I moved. And I miss some of it, I do, but it was time. First time I ever went to... Forbidden Planet in Nottingham. Very cool. Conventions are the best place to buy a lot of old comics. Well, they can be. If you know what you're looking for, they're great because you're going to find some deals there. And you're going to find some gouging if you're not careful. But as long as you're looking for something specific, it can be overwhelming to go to a convention and not have something specific because you're going to be like, oh, this all looks cool, but what do I want? What do I want? And you're just not going to end up getting anything and feeling disappointed. So you definitely have to have a plan when you go to a comic convention. Definitely have a plan of what kind of stuff you're looking for. And that'll help you have a better time. Comic store in Egypt called Kryptonite. Oh, that's cool. In Egypt. Man, I went to a comic book store once in Hong Kong, and it was, I think it was called like Clark's Basement or Clark Kent's something or other, something like that. It was the smallest comic book store I've ever been in, which is saying something because I've been in some small ones. It was essentially one room, but it was packed. It was just like layers and layers on like, shelves, like layers deep. It was so claustrophobic. I could only be in there for like a couple minutes and I was like, nope. It was full of so much stuff that literally only one person could be in there at a time. Like, it was like you'd go in and whoever was there before would come out. It was not fun. It was interesting, but it was not fun. And it focused mostly on like American imports. So it was mostly just like a place for people to get their current like ongoing monthly subscriptions. But, yeah. Hello, Andrew. Clark Kent's Cupboard. I don't know if maybe. I thought it was something simpler like Clark's Comics, but it might have had Clark Kent in it. Any plans to cover DC's Elseworlds? Possibly. No plans. I shouldn't say that. Like, would I cover it? Possibly. Plans? No, I'm not right now. Got a lot of ideas. Always got a lot of ideas. I can say that I'm in the early stages of lining up an interview, so that should be fun. Snake Eyes Comics is my usual shop. Okay. Any interesting finds in a convention? That's an interesting question. I would say that, like, for the most part, the interesting stuff I've come across at conventions are more just like self-published sort of indie type stuff, and like sketchbooks and stuff from artists that I like maybe Jeff Darrow or Mike Mignola, things like that, like where it's cool to meet the person. Interview with who? I'll keep it a secret for now, but he's a modern writer. Okay. I would say a pretty big name. Anyway, so I'll be doing that like when I can figure out what time works best for him. So now you know that it's both a him and a writer. That's plenty. I want to check out Love and Rockets. Where should I start? It's a tough question, James, because it's a long comic. But I would say that overall it might be best to start at the beginning, because it is sort of almost like a soap opera, and you're going to get more out of it if you can know the whole story with the cast of characters. I wouldn't say that the beginning is like its best overall story or anything, but I would start there because you can get the trades pretty cheap through Fantagraphics. You really can, so don't let like that intimidate you. Parasite. That sound. Oh yeah. Parasite. I saw that in the theater. That was good. Japanese Batman comic. I've seen that. It's crazy, but crazy's good. Let's see. Am I a Dune fan? You know what? I wish I knew more about Dune. I've seen the movie by David Lynch because I'm a David Lynch fan. It's a weird movie. But I haven't read the books. I know about them. I've read about them. But no, I can't quite say that I'm a fan because I haven't sat down and read the books, which would probably be the thing that a fan does. Lord Deathman. More Mad Libs? Sure. Would I ever cover romance comics? Yeah, I definitely would consider doing that. Don't have a current plan, but definitely something I would strongly consider. No, I haven't read that about Patrick Stewart and Dune, that it was a mistake. That's funny. All right, folks, get ready. We're doing a Mad Lib. Give me a verb. Start looking at the screen. Give me a verb. Don't give me too many. Okay. Okay. There was only one verb, so. Next, I need a noun. Give me a noun. Oh, there's one already. But. What else? Comic. All right. Oh, balls. Okay, ball. Yeah. Satan. Okay. Still need more nouns. Let's see. Oh, we've got a bunch here. Okay. That's more than enough, folks. Okay. That's plenty of nouns. Let's see. Now I need the name of a person in the room. Somebody, it can't, I'm not going to say me. I'm ineligible. Say the name of somebody else in the chat room, and I'm going to put them into this story. You all vote amongst yourselves. I'm just going to write down the first one. James. Okay. James it is. Give me an adjective, folks. Give me an adjective. You guys are good naming each other. I appreciate that, but I already got James, so give me an adjective. Smelly. All right, what else do we have? Sticky. Okay, Swifty. All right, that's enough. Now I'm almost done. I need a type of food. Anything that's edible will work. Hit me up with something that's edible. And I'll have some more wine. Jalapenos it is. Oh, you know what? That's going to actually work too well. Give me something else. So, okay. I saw a bat. So, that's what's going in. And then finally, I need a number. Somebody come up with a number. Give me a number. Give me a number. Crunchwrap Supreme, Rocky Mountain Oysters, Guano. These are good. 69 it is. Big shocker there. All right, here we go. This is called Come to the Fireworks Warehouse. Are you tickling for some butts to set off to celebrate this 4th of July? Look no further than James Gleason's South of the Balls Warehouse. South of the Balls. We've got the most smelly fireworks you can find this side of the comic. Our Satans are very famous for a very sticky reason. They are fueled by our spicy hot bats. With the power of 69 normal fireworks, our Swifty El Diablo will seductively impress all the tentacles you plan to host at your celebration. So come on down to South of the Arugula Warehouse and get your pickles today. Get your pickles today. Smelly is an important characteristic of fireworks, yeah. Well, you just need to go south of the balls to James's South of the Balls, which I can only assume it might be the Taint. You know, is that the name of James's fireworks station? The Taint distributorship? This Taint Yo Mama's fireworks stand. That was silly. Yeah, that's pretty much the most you can hope for, I think, in Mad Libs is silly. You often can't come up with anything better than that. Okay, actually, you can. There's two ways to do Mad Libs that are funny, in my opinion. One, you just use words like poop and butts. Just nothing but like toilet humor. It always kind of works, trust me. The other is what I'm about to do, which is I will fill this in myself, and you'll see how it works. Okay, plural noun. Things. Adjective. Plenty. Adverb. Normally. Person in room. Chris. Noun. Stuff. Adjective. Okay. Adjective. Normal. Plural noun. Places. Verb. Walk. See, I'm using very mundane things. Adjective. Nice. Verb ending in ing. Looking. Noun. Object. Person in room, female. Ciri. That's who I'm drawing. Type of food. Lunch. A place. Room. Now I'm going to translate all this, and we'll see. I'm going to put this from here down here, and we'll see how it goes. Things. Plenty. Normally. Chris. Stuff. Okay. Normal. Places. Walk. Nice. Looking. Object. Ciri. Lunch. And room. Okay, ready? I'm going to read this to you. Yeah, I do stream on Twitch. It's at Comic Tropes if you're on Twitch. Streaming there right now. This is called Summertime Song. Summer might not have as many holidays as the other things, but that's no reason not to celebrate. Mordecai and Rigby found this plenty song one summer that proved to be normally catchy. It's summertime and Chris knows what that means. Gonna head down to the stuff. Gonna do some okay things. It's summertime. It feels just normal. Gonna gather all my places and we'll walk through the night. It's nice, la-la loving. It's looking in the summertime. It's summertime, la-la loving. Oh, object, why can't you be mine? It's summertime and Ciri just can't wait. Gonna call you on the phone, gonna take you on a date. It's summertime and I hope you like lunch. Gonna take you to a restaurant, gonna eat out at the room. I don't know. It's stupid, but I like just making it as bland as possible sometimes. I think if I had time, I could come up with even more bland words. I thought this was streaming on Twitch. It is. It is. You can go there and watch it. Yep. Can't give me bits. No, not yet, Sigmigs. I need to get like a certain number of people to be on Twitch at the same time, a total number. You need like to get like metrics. So, you know, whatever. It'll come someday. What kind of weighted gloves would you recommend for throat punching? I wouldn't recommend trying to look for any. That's a no-no. Not exactly proud of that. That's why I'm not doing that anymore. So I don't really have any recommendations for being a superhero. I would say if you're thinking about it, don't. And that's about all I can say. I would say the average person is very likely to get themselves arrested or to hurt somebody, even if they have good intentions. Got more people in Twitch. Look at that. Do emotes work? Emotes definitely work, so that looks cool. I'm ordering Mad Libs from Amazon now. Well, there I go. I've helped the Mad Libs industry today. That's my one good deed for the day, is helping Mad Libs. I'm getting hungry. It's getting late over here. But this is fun, just talking to everybody, telling stupid stories, and just sort of doodling. Appreciate all the guests that we've had drop in and out. It's really cool. It's always fun chatting with people. I know I could have a huge audience if I still streamed this on Comic Tropes, but it would ultimately sort of impact me negatively. Because it would be still a lot less views than like a typical episode gets. So like then YouTube stops like sort of recommending my videos, which hurts. So I need to build this channel up slowly, which is hard because I don't have as engaging content over here. But I'll think of it. I'll figure it out. Favorite quarantine snack? Oh, what would be my favorite snack? Let's see. You know, it's probably just going to be like something mundane. I've discovered that I really like what's it called? There's a certain type of popcorn. It's both sweet and salty. What's it called? Like kettle corn, I guess? Is that what it's called? I think so. That's become like a snack that I really like. But I'm also trying not to like go hog wild on snacks because it would be very easy these days to just sort of go nuts on snacks. Dun, 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 dun. Marshmallow, Fruit Loops, and a glass of milk. Let's see. It's 4 a.m. here, so I'm not sure this will be a regular thing for me, but I'm happy to be here. Yeah, that is early in the morning over your time. Wow. I saw Rick Remender. Oh, you figured it out, Joe. I was bummed the Uncanny X-Force Omni reprint went out of stock so fast. Oh, I know. It's such a great book. It's so good. Like, I think for the Marvel stuff, I think that's my favorite stuff that Rick did. And he's talented, man. I love Rick's work. He's good. He's good. He's good. Yo, you're good, yo. So, what video games have you guys been playing that you've like fallen in love with during this weird time? I have not covered Popeye or Thimble Theater as a specific episode. I definitely want to at some point. Oh, Popeye's Chicken sounds so good. Danganronpa series. Don't know that game. Let's see. Animal Crossing. Yes, a lot of people playing Animal Crossing for sure. Final Fantasy VII Remake. That could be cool. That was definitely a game that I absolutely loved. That, you know, out of like ones that I've played all the way through, way up there is just like a favorite. I would say some of my all-time favorites include stuff like what else? The Last of Us was a game that I absolutely adored. Tetris I've played so much. Legend of Zelda, a lot of them, but Ocarina of Time was like one of the first ones that I really, really liked. And then what else have I like really, really liked? I've liked a lot of different sort of like Halo and Call of Duty games, if I'm being honest. I love first-person shooters. But what was it? You know, there's a game, and I wouldn't call it a great game necessarily, but it was an addictive game, and that was Pokemon Snap on the N64. I had a really good friend, and one night we rented it together, and we just took turns handing it back and forth because it's a one-player game, and we played that thing until like something like 3 in the morning because we were just having so much fun. Has there ever been a good video game movie? Not a great one, but there have been a couple that are okay. Personally, I do like the first Resident Evil, and I think also the fourth. I watched that series. What else? Like the first Mortal Kombat, I would say, is pretty entertaining. A good video game movie. A lot of people said that they liked the Sonic movie that came out. I didn't see it, so I don't know. Yeah, I do like the Metal Gear Solid series, but I haven't played all of them. Super Mario Brothers was an amazing movie. See, I don't think I could agree with you there, Sansanity. I thought that was not so great. Detective Pikachu. Detective Pikachu, I wanted to like. I watched it on an airplane though, and I just was falling asleep. Like I just could not. It could not engage me, and that was like a captive audience. Yeah, Street Fighter's pretty weird. Trying to think of like a good video game movie, and I can't think of a great one. I definitely can't think of a great one. I can think of some that I've been entertained by, but I would not call them good movies. There's a subtle difference there. Castlevania. Super Mario Brothers was entertaining as an unintentional comedy. Well, I can't disagree with you there. By that token, so was what am I thinking of? Scott Wolf, Mark Dacascos, Alyssa Milano were all in a video game movie. What was that one called? It's about two brothers, Billy and Jimmy, that are like punks that fight everybody. What? I can't think of what I'm thinking of. I have not watched the Castlevania series on Netflix. Sorry. I wouldn't call myself a massive gamer, to be honest. Like, I like video games. I play video games. I don't play them all the time. Like, I'm not great at them or anything. I like video games. Double Dragon. Now that's a movie that's so bad it's hilarious, I think. Yeah, I said the first Mortal Kombat movie, Terry. I definitely think that the first Mortal Kombat is campy, but pretty entertaining for what it is. You seem like a normal-sized gamer to me, not massive. Oh no, getting pretty massive there, bro. Does anyone know what is Chris's comic? Don't quite understand that question. Bimmy and Jimmy, exactly right. Bimmy and Jimmy. Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat definitely has some entertaining characters. I liked those games quite a bit in my sort of college years. That's when I was really into them. Mortal Kombat. What a catchy song. If nothing else, damn did they give us a catchy song with that. So catchy. Mortal Kombat 11 is fun. I don't think I've played a Mortal Kombat since maybe something like 5. Oh, comics that I've worked on? I mean, there's different levels to like what I've worked on. You know, like there's things that I've barely worked on, but did, like, you know, I proofread all of Invincible. I proofread all of Walking Dead. Wasn't the editor per se, but I proofread it all from first issue to the last, as well as the other stuff that Kirkman creates. And you can see, like, you know, I did the intro for like Battle Pope's 3rd trade paperback, I think. Things like that, like, you know, speak to that, the things that he's published. And what else have I done? Like, but then there's stuff that I've directly worked on as like an illustrator, work for hire. And I usually do like about like one comic a year just to sort of like keep my credentials right. But the stuff that you can easily find there would be stuff like Trickster and Colonial Comics Volume 1 and 2. Those are three sort of big anthologies that are like all, what would I say? They're all available at like, Amazon, or if you go into a Barnes and Noble, you're likely to find it, etc. Like easy to find comics. And then I've done a ton of self-published indie stuff, but that's not easy to find. I still have a few copies here and there, but yeah, maybe I'll give that away to like patrons someday, like as a sort of giveaway. That could be kind of fun. I think tomorrow I will be getting in the mail a giveaway that I ordered for my patrons. Like anybody that like donates a certain amount of money, I will be giving like away. I will be mailing like a cool sort of giveaway. I'll have that like announced tomorrow or whenever I get it. I drew a Transformers comic when I was a kid. Yep. Digital release to patrons. I wouldn't have the files to that because I wasn't like the editor or publisher for any of it, so I don't have that. Working on any comics right now? Well, in the sense that I've written some that I want to hire a different artist than myself to create, then yes. Like I've got several things that I want to get published, but I don't feel like I have the funds to pay an artist right now, and I'm very like I'm always going to pay my artists for whatever they do. I always have, and I always will. I've paid artists for things that haven't gotten produced yet. So basically, if I get into a position financially where I can save up, I would hire a good artist to do, like, I've got several stories that I've written. So I sort of am always working on some of the stuff that I like to write. I could do a Kickstarter campaign. Sure, but I'd still want to pay people for like maybe say 5 or 6 pages up front so that I can show people what that product is. Get it? Like no matter what, I'm going to need some money up front. And yeah, I could go with Kickstarter. It's cool that, those tools are now in the people's hands to do it themselves. But if I'm being honest, I would far prefer doing something through, say, like Image and stuff, so that it can really get out there to a broader audience. I like the Image deal. I respect the people that work at Image quite a bit. I've actually had a couple ideas accepted at Image that just didn't, like, they fell apart for various reasons. So I would still like that to happen someday. We'll see. Do you write and sketch or just write the story? I would just write for that. I mean, if people needed help with like character design or like had question over a certain layout, of course I can step in, but I want to hire somebody that's capable of doing the art. Yeah, one thing that hurts, like I had one comic that like was gonna get printed in Image. This is a long time ago now, like a really long time. Like we're talking like 15 years or something like that. And the artist drew like 30 pages of a 64-page comic and then just sort of bailed. And so that all fell apart. But boy, did I like that. Will I be able to quit smoking without killing anybody? You can do it. Are you willing to take commissions? I probably don't have time right now. I'm really spending a lot of time working on comic tropes right now. I was mentioning earlier, and I'll mention it again for anybody that wasn't here. Myself and a bunch of other comic book YouTubers are putting together a bunch of panels for something we're calling the At Home Comic Con. We want to produce entertainment while everybody is stuck at home in a pretty tough situation. April 18th, that's happening. So beyond just creating my normal episodes, I've got to get ready for that. I'm going to be on some panels there. It's going to be guys like me, Comic Drape, Comic Storian, Comic Pop, Matt Draper, Owen Likes Comics, a bunch of others. Like, we're all collaborating right now, and we're going to put together a convention on April 18th, and so that's taking up a lot of my time right now, beyond just doing my regular episodes, because I've got to create extra content. And I'm working on arranging an interview with a good name creator for something. I want to start doing more interviews, so that's something I'm working on as well. Make sure you announce it in advance so we can tune in. Absolutely. There is going to be a fundraising component to it. Not necessary at all, but it will all go towards charities that benefit people being affected by COVID-19. So, yeah, I was humming a Super Mario World tune. That's great. My favorite Super Nintendo video game? I never had a Super Nintendo, so I don't really have one, Daniel. Good catch that I was humming one. And he plans to attend the Portland Comic-Con in September. I don't think I knew that there was one. Is that Rose City Con? Is that Rose City Comic-Con or something else? Because I wouldn't say no to it. Rose City is in September. If things are better by then, I would definitely consider. I've never gone to Rose City, but I've heard good things. It's definitely doable. I've gone further to get to a convention just for the fun of seeing what's there. And I would be pretty starved for human contact by then. We'll see. Maybe, as long as things are back to normal, I'll give that some very serious consideration. Oh, that just because you're mentioning it, that's funny. Like, I have this piece of mail that I know I haven't opened yet, but is from a convention that didn't happen here. Look, I just realized there was my pass for Emerald City Comic-Con, which obviously did not happen. So I never had to open it, but I had it down here with it. And so when you mentioned that, so yeah, I do at least one comic a year so that I can sort of submit that and hopefully get approved for a pass. So that's too bad that didn't happen, but of course it was the right decision. You like Comic Drake and Matt Draper. Good. Well, I'm excited to be collaborating with guys like this that I respect, I haven't really watched Comic Drake, I'll be honest, but his numbers are up there, and just talking to him, he seems like a pretty smart and decent guy, I think. That's about all I know so far, but he seems really, really smart and kind. Matt, I have talked to a little bit more, and Matt definitely, I know, is a good, smart guy that produces a good show. So, yeah, the convention for Emerald City was postponed to what they thought would be July, I think. We shall see. Hard to say if that will come to pass or not. But hopefully that's something that'll be fun for everybody. Like the fact that all these comic book YouTubers are collaborating and interacting together. I'm sure you never thought that it's something like 20 of us, maybe a tiny bit more, but somewhere around 20. And we're going to just provide free panels that will stream all day on our own channels if we're on it, but also to the At Home Comic-Con YouTube page that we've set up. Maybe I shouldn't say we, because I haven't really been involved in the behind-the-scenes stuff. But glad that I can do it. It's fun to to collaborate. It's one of my favorite parts of comics, to be honest. Yes, you can make it yourself. I love collaborating. I love it. Did I go to art school? I did not go to art school. I did not. It's all self-taught, which is why I've got issues. Which is why but what I'm trying to focus on these days is like both draw things better and become a better inker. I've got a long way to go to be a good inker. I've got a long way to go. I know that. But it's fun to learn. It's fun to learn and to practice. April 18th, yes. Is not knowing Japanese a big barrier for visitors? If you're talking about just going to Japan, I would say it's not a big barrier anymore, because I've been to Japan 4 times and I've never really had that much trouble getting around or figuring anything out. These days it's pretty easy to look up a translation on an app if you absolutely need to, and not to be like an ugly foreigner, but fortunately a lot of people over there speak English a lot, at least enough to get by, and so you give it your best shot with as much Japanese as you know, and they're willing to meet you halfway. I've had nothing but great experiences. Sincerely, if I became super successful for some reason with YouTube, I would very likely move to Japan. It's something my fiance and I would like to do. We've enjoyed visiting there enough that we're pretty sure that we would like to try living there for at least a few years and see what that's like. Don't know if it'd happen, to be honest. It's probably unlikely, but I would give it a shot. An ad? An ad? Let's skip past that. Osaka and Kyoto were easy enough to get around into, yeah. I've never heard of Captain Midnight, I'm afraid. I've been to Kyoto, Osaka, and Tokyo. I would like to live in Tokyo. I just like it there. I really do. I wouldn't say that I'm like... I don't even really watch much anime. I read a little bit of manga because I love comics in general. I wouldn't say that like that's something I'm a big fan of. I just legit like it there. I don't know. I like how clean it is. I like how polite the people are to me. I've had good experiences. It feels safe. And I've had, I like the food. I just like it there. So, I don't know. It's something that I'm definitely giving serious thought to. That I would be willing to try for like a few years. Well, thank you, Alex. My love right back to the UK. Maybe switch your Twitch category if you get the chance. Oh, okay. I'll go into that and look into that. Don't get stepped on by any kaijus. I'll try not to. I discovered a show I enjoy during this lockdown. I don't watch a lot of TV these days because I'm so busy, but usually I want to try to find something that Chrissy and I both sort of enjoy, and we've discovered that we like Ozark, the YouTube show, which is really cool. It's about a family who's like the patriarch, the husband, Jason Bateman, is a money launderer. And when things kind of go awry, he has to move very quickly from Chicago to the Ozarks, the Lake of the Ozarks, and set up shop there. It's pretty damn good. So that's about the only thing I'm watching right now. I'd love to watch more, but I sort of put video games and TV aside so that I can keep comic tropes coming out on time. You just finished the My Hero Academia finale. You know, I've only watched like about the first 2 or 3 episodes of My Hero Academia, and I was like, okay, pretty cool. Wish the animation was a little more fluid, but totally get it. It's a TV budget and all. But it was like, oh, well, this is just very loyal adaptation of the manga, you know, the comics. And I read the comics, so I've not felt the need to sort of watch both, or like, yeah, like read one and watch the other. And I like My Hero Academia quite a bit, to be honest. That's a comic that I get as soon as it gets translated. I pick up the new issue. I like it a lot. It reminds me of stuff like New Mutants. But yeah, I don't really watch it. Who's this character? This is Ciri from The Witcher. She's sort of a mercenary, essentially. Have you been reading the current New Mutants book? I haven't. I'm sorry. To you, what's the difference between anime, animated series, and manga comics? To me, no real difference other than their literal tropes. You know, like their ways of like sort of animating expression and stuff like that. Otherwise, I consider manga comics. I consider anime cartoons. To me, it definitely is the same thing. With the slight caveat that, like, you know, by definition, they're coming from, you know, potentially different cultures, but it's just a different name for the same thing. That by, let's see, what's the phrase? That by which any other name we would call a rose should smell as sweet. To poorly quote the bard. Mike Grell used to draw Green Arrow. He did well. Rumiko Takahashi. I don't know what Rumiko Takahashi worked on. Sorry. My best guess, but it is completely a guess. Ranma 1/2, whatever that's called. Because I feel like I've heard the name before. But that's a guess. Don't necessarily know what that creator worked on. Would I cover them? Nothing's off limits with comic tropes, no. You were reading Berserk, right? Starred to Inuyasha. Thanks. Ranma half. Okay, I got it. I did know who the person was. Urusei Yatsura. Yeah, I would definitely consider that. I feel like Japan made a lot more right-moved business-wise than American comics. More content with cheap black and white newsprint. Maybe. Would I cover Karl Barks? Definitely. Definitely. The Good Duck Artist? Yes, I would love to. I would love to. Don't know exactly when, but yes. Definitely something I'd love to dig into. I have a lot of respect for Karl Barks. I think most people will enjoy the next episode of Comic Tropes. It's about a big name creator, no longer working, but I think it's a big enough name that everybody will be fairly interested because he does have an interesting story and his artwork is, I think, gorgeous. So I'm pretty excited about the next episode to present to everybody. I hope you all like it. I hope so. Putting in a lot of work into it. John Byrne. Well, I sort of talked a little bit about John Byrne in an episode about like Alpha Flight back in the day. Shooter again? Maybe someday. Not this soon. Not this soon. Somebody asking me what paper this is? This is something I really like. It's called Paris Paper. Number 234, Paris Paper for Pens by Borden and Riley. Really amazing. It even says a perfect paper for manga and other types of illustration. They're totally right. It's smooth. It doesn't really bleed much. There's a lot to like about this paper. I know everybody uses Bristol, but yeah. When does the episode come out? If I can get it done in time, Tari, it should come out Sunday. It should. I've got a lot of work still to do on it. That's the only reason I'm like hedging my bets there. But yeah, my goal is to get it out Sunday. If not, then shortly after. Where do you get your art supplies? I don't really get them online, unfortunately. I get them at a local shop. I can't even... Artists and Craftsmen. It's a local store. Could I tell us who it's going to be about? No, I'm going to keep it a secret. Sorry. I'm going to keep it a secret. Americans can never get Puck right. They always add A in the weirdest places. Oh, we do, eh? Alpha Flight's cool. Puck's cool. I don't like all of the characters in Alpha Flight, I guess. Like, some of them I find very bland. I do like Sasquatch. I like Puck. I like North Star, but like Aurora or Snowbird, I don't get a lot out of them. Shaman, I've never really felt that I quite understand his personality. Yeah, I would definitely cover both Ramitas, definitely. I probably am not super likely to do an episode on Wizard magazine anytime soon, since cartoonist kayfabe has sort of carved that out as their niche. Like reviewing each issue of or breaking down comics through looking at each issue of Wizard. I feel like that might be stepping on their toes a little bit. So I don't know if I would cover Wizard. Maybe someday, but I'd want to make sure that they're okay with it and stuff like that. Just since that sort of seems to be their bag. It's not that it's off limits. I just want to be respectful. Thoughts on Dragon Ball's art? I really wouldn't know. I don't have a big, strong opinion on that. Haven't read Dragon Ball. Comic scene, huh? Yeah, there are other magazines that sort of have gotten forgotten. Comic scene started off with a few good interviews. I think it was like the first issue or something. They talked to Jim Shooter. Whatever issue it was, I have that, and I used that when I was researching Jim Shooter. I think the Comics Journal sometimes gets forgotten. They had some fantastic interviews through there, especially when Gary Groth would do interviews for them. I think that he did an amazing job. Really got a lot out of his participants. Who else was really amazing for magazines? Yeah, it's hard to say. Hey, Milo, want to make an appearance? My kitty's here. Oh, look at this. This is my cat Milo. I was looking for some old wizards. Yeah, I gave all mine away at some point. Gary Groth, you think, is biased and snobby? Well, he may be. I just think that he gets a lot out of his subjects, is what I think. So I think as an interviewer, he had some skill. Jack Kirby did an interview in Comic Scene where he takes a few swipes at Stan Lee. Oh, yeah, I mean, Jack was, I think, a very nice gentleman, but made his thoughts on Stan pretty clear. I mean, if nothing else, there's Funky Flashman, his character. That's a total parody of Stan Lee. So if you ever read his New God stuff, that's up there. Let's see. I like how she sort of has that same pose Black Widow had in the trailer. Well, I think this is just the way a lot of women sort of stand with their hip sort of cocked out to the side. Is all. Stan and Jack didn't always get along. No. I think that if you were to ask Stan who his favorite collaborator was, though, I really think he would have always said Jack Kirby. I really think so. Funky Flashman, I don't feel like he is as deep a cut since there was that comic just the other year. There was a new Mr. Miracle comic by Tom King and Mitch Gerads, and it used Funky Flashman quite a bit. Well, I think that Stan Lee respected what Ditko offered. I think that he just appreciated working with I think he appreciated working with Kirby, how fast he was, and I just think that the two did have a good, what would I call it, a good collaborative process for the most part. And you can argue, how much each person contributed, that maybe like Kirby did a lot more, but there's no question that they're both on the credits for creating some amazing stuff together. And Stan Lee obviously worked with a lot of other artists and stuff, and he'd work with somebody as amazing as John Buscema, and anybody that is an artist, I think, respects what John Buscema could offer. But Stan wanted him to be more like Jack Kirby. And that was kind of the way he was always pushed to be throughout his whole career, was to be more like Kirby. Kind of amazing. Ditko was the objectivist, yeah. Yeah, he was. He was an interesting character, that's for sure. In Search of Ditko is a good documentary. It's a great documentary. That's the one by Jonathan Ross, right? The British documentary. Really wish they'd been able to get Ditko on camera for that. I wish I'd tried to ring Jack Kirby's doorbell. I wish I'd thought ahead and just at least tried, but I never really even thought to try. I knew he was a hermit, but he wasn't necessarily hard to find his address. And yeah, I should have at least tried, but too late now. Bill Finger died in poverty. A lot of Golden Age creators died in poverty. That is a sad, sad fact. Mark Evaniers' book, King of Comics, is excellent. Yes, yes. The Batman and Bill documentary was really good. I haven't seen it yet. I'd love to, but I think it's only on Hulu, and I don't have Hulu. The comic community really turned on Kane after that. Yeah. If you rang Kirby's doorbell, his wife would have fed you some good food from what I've heard. That's pretty cool. Roz Kirby. She sounds like a fantastic partner who was always there for Jack. I don't know. Hey Chris, saw this earlier tonight and finally getting a chance to tune in. Glad you're doing these during these trying times. Well, thanks, Mike. Hopefully it's somewhat entertaining. Didn't Steve Rude pull up on somebody's house when he was like 18 before he turned pro? That sounds very familiar, but nothing's coming to me off the top of my head. It sounds very likely. For predominantly black areas, you could use a Sharpie instead of coloring with a felt tip. Oh, I know. I just don't always have the right tools beside me. I mean, I'm not a pro, so I don't have always everything in stock, you could say. But you're right. You're totally right. No, I haven't seen the Bill Finger documentary on Hulu. I'd love to. I've read a lot about Bill Finger over the years. Tremendous respect for him. Imagine Nick Cage screaming while lasers blast from his eyes. Yeah. Well, if you look it up, you can even find images of Nick Cage in the Superman suit from that planned Tim Burton movie. So they were pretty far along. You can find images of like the cast from the Justice League of America that Mad Max director George Miller was going to do. And some of those things look really cool. Really, really cool. I think that could have been a cool movie. Giant spiders. Yeah, if you want to hear like some good stories about the planned Superman movie, Kevin Smith has some really funny, entertaining stories because he was brought in by producer John Peters, I want to say is his name. It's been a while since I've read it, but he was brought in to potentially he did a rewrite, and what a chaotic production. John Peters is a loon. Boy, that sounds like the truth. He definitely is a character. We should be grateful that he had less and less involvement in the Batman movies after the first one, because his ideas were pretty out there. Which Comic Tropes episode took the most amount of research, and which did you know the most about going in? Oh, that's an interesting question. Which took the most amount of research? Probably something like lettering. Like the history of comic book lettering took a lot of research. Once I decided that was something I definitely wanted to do. I would say that the recent Jim Shooter episode, I definitely read a lot of interviews, so that one took longer than I might have expected. It's interesting. The ones that I knew the most about, probably the very first one that I did, like Chris Claremont. I felt like I understood his writing style pretty well, so I felt like I had an idea of what I wanted to say in that one. That's an interesting question, though. Thank you. To be fair, let's see. Nolan thought having a Justice League Batman at the same time as his movies would be too confusing. Yeah. I don't agree, but I understand the logic. I don't agree, but I get where he was coming from. These are cool questions tonight, folks. I sincerely appreciate your company and the questions. Makes it fun. I always wanted to see Nolan's take on the Riddler. Oh. Yeah, could have been interesting. I'll be honest, not a huge fan of the Riddler. I don't know. I don't quite understand. He's a tough character to get right. Let me just put it that way. Like, I love seeing Batman solve mysteries. That part I love. But the aspect of how he feels compelled to leave clues, just, it's like, what, he wants to get caught? And how interesting is that? I don't know. To me, not especially. But who knows? Maybe Paul Dano in this new movie could make it good. Yeah, Robin Williams definitely wanted to be Riddler. Not in the Nolan films. He wanted to be it in the original series. He campaigned pretty hard to be Joker and then Riddler. Serial killers leave clues hoping to get caught sometimes. Yeah, it's true. I just don't necessarily find it super interesting. Any more plans for episodes about Euro comics? Absolutely. Absolutely. Some that I know I'm going to do are Corto Maltese, Tintin, probably some other more modern stuff as well. So yeah, they'll definitely be there. The Riddler being like Jigsaw in the games was interesting. Maybe. Yeah, that's true. It's not a terrible idea. Hey Todd, I see that a friend of mine just jumped into the view stream on Facebook. Nice to have people jumping in. I'm trying to think of what colors I want to use here. And I'm realizing that I don't have every color Copic marker that I really want, which makes it a little tricky. I figured out. Yeah, Corto Maltese is amazing. An episode on the Goon and Eric Powell. I'm definitely not against it. I like Eric Powell. He's an interesting voice. Arcade, the X-Men Spider-Man villain, needs a live-action adaptation. Well, I feel like anything is possible these days. So, who knows? Maybe that'll happen. Let's give Ciri some more color here. Trying to see what colors I have available for these leather pants. Whether I've got like a light brown or if they're going to have to be a shade of gray by necessity. I'd prefer to give it a little bit of color interest by using a brown, but I'm not sure if I've got a light enough one. I will look in a moment. But I'm grateful to have everybody here. Let me think, is there another story I could tell? Where were my stories? Let's see. How do these supervillains hire henchmen if they're always getting caught? Who knows, man? I guess they've just got money somehow. Who knows? Well, I'll tell another story. Earlier I asked you, like whether you wanted me to tell you a story from my days as Omega of a fist fight or a car chase. So now I'll go ahead and tell you about that car chase story. So on this night, I was not with Phoenix Jones. I was patrolling with Ghost and Midnight Jack. And this was the same night, by the way, that I told you about, like where I saw the taxi cab hit 4 people and I had to administer like first aid and talk to the police. Later that same night, it was a busy night. Later that same night, we're walking towards Ghost's car, fortunately, because we saw a sedan tear around the corner of the street, like really fast, come close to hitting some pedestrians. And we're like, oh my God, I can't believe I almost saw like pedestrians get hit a second time in one night. And what really stood out was hanging from their front was another car's bumper. A whole other car's bumper was like just hanging off the front, and they were like going pretty fast. But we were right near Ghost's car, and we're like, Ghost is like, we're getting these guys. I'm like, all right, if you're driving, I guess I'm up for this. And we went on a chase that, like, was that a smart idea? I don't know. But we chased them down. And it was a long chase. We're just, like, tearing through the Capitol Hill area of Seattle at, like, 1 or 2 in the morning. And we're chasing them, and we're losing them for a second. Then we're finding them going down, like, a side street, and we're, like, tearing, and, like, we're sort of, like, blowing through a red light here or there just because, like, we're right on their tail. So, like, boy, I was like, oh, be careful, man. Like, it would be much worse if we caused any trouble, like, versus getting these guys. And they pull up to an apartment building eventually, okay? I love wine. They pull up to an apartment building, and a lady gets out. No, 2 ladies. It was 2 ladies. And I was the first guy out of the car. And I know that, like, I can't physically touch this person, okay? That would be bad. That would just, you can't do that. You can't, like, I couldn't physically arrest this person. We call the police as soon as we see that they parked, okay? Somebody else is on the phone, like Jack or something, like calling them. And I'm like, or I think we'd already actually called them in now that I think of it. Like while we were chasing them, we called in the license plate and said that, like, we were right behind them, but we didn't, like, let on that we were chasing them. So anyway, but like a follow-up call or like further details, I wasn't the one on the phone, but we get the police, and they're on their way. But what I'm trying to do is sort of stand in front of this this pair of ladies to slow them down, but not touch them or anything. They're like, "Don't you touch me!" But yeah, we got the license plate. So we didn't get to see everything get resolved, but probably this person got in a lot of trouble, a lot. But she keeps moving towards the gate. And I can't physically detain this person. I can't, because I saw them speeding, but I didn't see them hit the car. You know what I'm saying? I can only... Were they intoxicated? Almost definitely. I didn't have a way to assess that. Were they intoxicated? Absolutely. I don't see how they couldn't be, the way they were driving. And the fact that there was a whole bumper hanging off the front of their car. It was really obvious that they'd, like, hit a car, like they'd sideswiped it. The whole side of their car was, like, all scraped up. It was just a mess, just a total mess. It was a hit and run. Anyway, we're getting close to the gate into, like, it's a locked gate community into, like, this apartment building. And she pulled a knife on me. That said, was I that scared? No, to be honest, not super bad, because I had, like, this hard shell mask. I didn't feel like my head was in any great danger. Beyond my sort of, like, padded, like it was a motorcycle, like armored jacket. Underneath, I did have a bulletproof vest that was also stab proof, and I like sort of tested it. I should have taken away their car keys. Well, they weren't driving anymore. And I can't physically touch this person, or then that's assault on my part. It really would be. I read the laws. It's really, really tricky. But she pulled a knife on me. And I'm like, you don't want to go down this road. I'm like, the police are on the way. We've already called in your license plate. Like, I visually identified you. Like, you just wait. Things are going to go so much worse if you try to evade this, or if you attack me. I'm like, they're going to go so much worse. Like, just don't escalate things. I'm not touching you. She's like, don't touch me. And I'm like, I'm not going to touch you. But I'm here to, like, you obviously hit a car. And anyway, she did not, fortunately, like, swing at me with the knife. She just kept moving, and she did go past the gate, and I couldn't. I'm not going to go into the apartment building, but the police arrived like the second she walked into that door, and we told them, we gave a statement. They saw the car. It was like real obvious that they'd been through something. They were going to be able to pull up like CCTV footage, like cameras and stuff, to try to identify it. They had the license plate. They tried to get into the building, but nobody was going to let them in at that point. But they were going to track it down on their own. So, we reported that crime. At least we made sure that they didn't hit anybody else, is all I can say. They didn't attack anybody else. It was wild. It was wild. That was the first time I had somebody pull a knife on me. Why did she have a knife? That was weird. That still strikes me as kind of weird. Like, why would you have a knife? It wasn't like a kitchen knife. It was like a cutting knife. A cutting knife. What am I saying? I'm having too much vino. I'm enjoying the vino a bit too much. It was like a switchblade type of a knife. Crazy. Why would you have that? Anyway, that was the story. It was, all I can say is, if I told it in comic book form, it would probably be more exciting, because I can remember certain moments of, like, the drive and the chase, and that I could tell that story visually better than I can over the chat right now. But thanks for listening. I appreciate it. You carry a pocket knife all the time. It was more than a pocket knife. It was a switchblade. Like a pocket knife is a tool, and it's not that long. Like, even if you hit someone with it, you're not like going to be able to cause that much damage with a pocket knife, unless you keep hitting them. But yeah, it was the time I had a knife pulled on me. The first time I had a knife pulled on me. It would make for a good animated short. Maybe so. Who knows? What I'd like to do someday is hire an artist and make a comic book that just tells the true stories. I wouldn't use the real names of the people that I patrolled with, but I would tell the true stories of what kind of stuff that I did. Just of me, from my perspective, just the stuff I know. And I think it would be interesting. And I go from, like, thinking that I'm going to make a difference to being disillusioned as to, like, what you can accomplish that way, and figuring out, like, a better way to hopefully help society. We'll see. Something I'd like to do someday. Something I would like to do. Yeah, I'm hoping to, Terry. What does Chrissy think of these times? She kind of approved of it and thought that I was doing good work, and in some ways I was. I just don't think I needed to put on the costume to do the same good work, She was very supportive. I can't say anybody, like, told me not to do it. Maybe somebody should have, I don't know. But I never got hurt, thank goodness. No one cared who I was until I took off the mask. Until I took off the mask? No one cared who I was until I put on the mask. Yeah, I didn't catch that full comment, but someone's saying how it's sad to see how Phoenix ended up. Well, I guess I'm still hopeful that Phoenix can get his life situation sorted. I do think that he always intended well when he was suited up as a superhero. I do think he intended well, but he did have a chaotic life in general. So was it a surprise that he got himself arrested for selling drugs? I can honestly say it was not a surprise. I wish it was. I hold out hope that he can get things together. I don't think he's inherently a bad person. I think he needs organization help in his life. He just has a chaotic kind of life. That's all. But it does sort of make him look like a hypocrite, and I definitely think it has tanked the idea of being a real-life superhero, because at this point someone's going to be like, oh, what, you mean like Phoenix Jones, the drug dealer? That's what they're going to say. At least that's what I think. I don't think anyone can really do it anymore and like be taken seriously on any level, like or be given the benefit of trust. They can't be given the benefit of trust because of what he's got himself caught doing. But it is not a surprise. I definitely knew that was stuff that he was into, and it was a big part of what made me decide to stop being a superhero beyond just getting disillusioned with what we can accomplish. It was like, this guy's like saying one thing but living a completely different life, and it's driving me nuts. I don't want to be around that anymore. I don't know if he thought he was keeping it a good secret or not. Like, I definitely had no illusions about what he was into. That he used Molly and other things. No surprise. Surprising you got caught, but you can break into stores in Seattle if you're homeless and the PD won't arrest you. Well, I don't know about that. I always had good interactions with the police. Top 5 writer-artist combos in the past 20 years. Top 5 writer-artist combos. Brubaker Phillips. Remender Moore. King Gerards. Who else like has real simpatico as like a writer and artist combo that like works together a lot? Yeah, it's super sad, Terry. 20 years, like that can take me back a ways too. Let me think. Let me think of 2 more like writer artist combos that I really admire. I'm trying to think sort of more indie instead of like mainstream and stuff like that. Oh, well, I'd say the guys that work on Black Sad, excuse me, that writer-artist combo. And I like the guys that did, the guys that did both Death Note and Bakuman. I forget the names of them off the top. Thoughts on Remender's run on Venom? I loved it. I think that Tony created an amazing visual for it, and I think that like Rick came up with a great idea for who Flash Thompson was. I thought that was super cool book. Super cool. Love it. Absolutely love it. I don't want to see any ads. Let me find another one. Okay. Here's 10 hours of synthwave. Who drew Venom better, Larson or McFarlane? I'd say McFarlane, and I think that like even Larson may agree with that McFarlane did better because Eric Larson will tell you he did not really like drawing that character. He didn't. That was not one of his favorites. I got it, Chrissy. I'm getting hungry, folks. Might have to take off in a little while just to eat. Gotta eat every once in a while, you know? Yeah, my girlfriend's in the chat. Woo! I do like Outrun. Oh, hello, Seed Hill. Soon be time for breakfast. What's a good Scottish breakfast? What like over here? It's honestly like it's gonna be like cereal, maybe a breakfast bar. If you're feeling like especially like hungry, maybe it's gonna be things like pancakes or waffles, sausage, eggs. But what's it? Haggis and milk? No, I'm curious. Seed Hill is from Scotland, and I'm curious, like, what if there's like sort of a typical or common breakfast over there. I just always love learning about different countries and areas and stuff. So, just curious. Beans, sausage links, blood pudding, and easy over eggs and toast. Oh, maybe. Yeah, they sure are making a Venom 2. Probably isn't going to come out for a while. All these movies got delayed. Did Venom actually ever eat anyone's brain? Possibly, but if so, like mostly like implied off screen. Eggs, bacon, beans, black pudding, fried bread. Fried bread I kind of like. Tom Hardy's accent is a little weird, but it's kind of interesting. He's a good actor. I like Tom Hardy. I think he's a really, really good actor. I think he's very interesting to watch. I wish I had a different shade of brown to use, but I really don't. Nah. Yeah. Anybody else getting hungry for either breakfast or dinner? I'm starving. Is black pudding blood? What is black pudding? I guess I don't know now that you mention that. What is black pudding? I just hope in this one I can tell what's happening in the fight scenes. Yeah. I didn't love Venom. It was, it's what it was. Whatever. It's whatever. I wish I liked it more than I did. I hear somebody approaching. Who do I hear approaching? Nobody. I think I hear somebody. What's this? Oh, cool. Thank you. Chrissy brought me some snacks. You got it at 7 o'clock. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. I didn't realize I've been doing this for 3 hours. Good Lord. Venom alternated between being intentionally and unintentionally funny. That's the truth.
The music is so quiet, I can't hear it on the stream.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They have the volume.
Chrissy said you couldn't hear my music, so I turned it up a little. One more Mad Libs at least. Yeah, I'll do one more Mad Libs in a minute. Silly cat. Chrissy's trying to help Milo, and he's not having it. Did he just take his medicine? Milo is a very sweet cat, but he's also a very nervous cat, so we give him kitty Prozac to help calm him down. He does not love taking it, but it's quick. Just a little pill. Goofball.
Is that enough for a snack?
It's great. I'll probably be wrapping up soon. Thanks, Chrissy. I've been having a good time talking to everybody. I didn't realize I've been going for 3 hours. That is something. Cats have a mind of their own. Hello, Watchful and Harmonious. Is Milo named after the powered drink? No, Milo is just sort of a name that I thought sounded kind of good. That's about all I can say about that. Don't really know what else to say. Who was the real-life Spider-Man in your superhero group? If there was anybody, it would be Phoenix. He was the most athletic. Kitty Prozac sounds like a band name? Yeah, I guess it could. You gotta understand, Phoenix Jones is a professional MMA fighter. He had some real athleticism, that's for sure. $7 a.m. Sounds pretty early. I'm a fan of the Morbius comic. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, okay. Morbius is a weirdo. You need to see athletic me. Okay. Who's it? Sigamig says he wants to see what I was like when I was athletic. I can pull up a photo. I don't have videos or anything, but give me a sec here. I'll pull up a photo and show you what I was like when I was in good shape. It's going to take me a minute or two. Where are my photos? I'm trying to think of how I find photos on Facebook. There it is. Bear with me. Throwback Thursday. There you go, Gene. You're still awake? That's amazing. So this is going back like 4 years now. But here, oh, I need to increase the brightness on this so that you can see. Trying to see if I can... You can probably at least see that I'm sort of more V-shaped there, right? I don't know. That's maybe not the best. It's hard to show a photo on this. But yeah, I used to be in shape. I got some definition here and there. That was me when I was healthy and all. Son of the Venom. Venom, like somebody was saying, like Venom could be unintentionally goofy. I mean, that's what I made my whole episode about. And I think the funniest Venom story was probably one written by Larry Hama, where Venom and Carnage enter the internet somehow. They put their goop into a computer and they enter the internet. I don't know how that makes sense. Hold on, I'm eating something. I don't quite understand a comment in there. Captain Negativity says that guy looks like a Matt Murdock fanboy. Don't quite understand what that means. I'm sorry, I'm trying, but I don't quite get it. Middle-aged man concept of 1990s hacking. Maybe so, but I love Larry Hama, so anything he wants to do is fine by me. He can do whatever he wants. I think we're probably just about done here. For tonight, I mean. Not like this drawing is necessarily complete, but it's probably going to have to do for now. The only thing I'd love to do is like her sort of waist piece here. I don't know if I've got the colors for it. We'll see. Take one more look at what I've got before I say yes or no. Art looks great. Oh, you guys are cool. Stream went crazy for you? Yikes. But I've had fun. Like I've told a bunch of stories. I've done a bunch of art. We've done some Mad Libs. This has been a good stream. This has been one of the most fun I've had. This is my social outlet these days, folks. I mean, hopefully it's at least broken up the day for you. I am not trying to keep folks away from their sleep, but it's really kind of many of you to have stayed up late or gotten up early to join in, and it's all the more fun for having everybody here. I'll say that much for sure. Good night, Mike. People love being here. Well, I love having you guys here. That's the truth. I'm gonna try to do something here. I don't really have a gold. So what am I gonna do for like this stuff here? It's more of a bronze or copper. I'm gonna have to use a yellow and then go over it with gray and hope that results in something that looks more dull and metallic. It may end up being way too bright for what this is, but all I can do is give it my best with what I have available. And ultimately, it's like they say, 'tis a poor artist who blames his tools, or her, or their. So hopefully not too much color, but a little bit of color interest here and there to sort of help break it up. And then if I were to do this as a complete illustration, well, honestly, if I was doing it as a complete illustration instead of sort of a pinup, she'd probably be in like some sort of a pose where she's either having a conversation or swinging a sword, instead of just this sort of bland standing around looking wistfully into the distance, which is not something people do. Can you announce these streams on the Comic Tropes channel? I probably should. I haven't been overly concerned with how big it is, but yeah. Tagging your Twitch stream? Yeah, I should. These are good pieces of advice, folks. I appreciate it. Alright, let's see here. Now to dull this yellow up. I think this is working alright. This is making it look a little more like copper or brass instead of some sort of yellow cardboard or something. There we go. It's the best part about Copics is how you can sort of blend and layer them. It doesn't just make a muddy mess. That's what you get with alcohol-based colors. Yeah. Giving it all something that almost looks like a greenish tint, which is exactly what I'd want for a sort of a copper look. I'm glad it worked. Wasn't sure. Ciri has the power to travel to alternate realities. Maybe she just saw McDonald's for the first time. Yeah, that's probably it. That is probably it. But yeah, eventually I will do an episode on the actual Polish Witcher comics, which I've got a friend very kindly helping translate for me right now, which is, I think, pretty cool. I talk with you, not to you. Yeah, I mean, hopefully that's the case. Definitely trying to engage, not just lecture. But who knows, you know? Alright, one last touch, I think, before I call this, and that's going to be to add a little bit of green to the sort of jewel in the middle. Even though you got bigger, I'm happy these live streams are still nice. I don't know that I got that big. I've still got a, well, hopefully, long ways to go, right? Like I said, I'm going to be doing this convention of sorts, this online at-home Comic-Con with some channels that are much bigger than mine. Comic Drake and Comic Storian are huge compared to me. I'm tiny. I'm small potatoes. I'm small potatoes. Where did I just put? I'd say this is a good way to spend 3 hours. I don't know. I didn't mean for it to go this long. You guys have been great. We are close to wrapping up. Just a couple final details here and there. I'm the best sized potato I can be. Alright. If you played music from Spotify, will it destroy your channel? Well, since I'm streaming to my second channel that isn't monetized, it wouldn't really matter right now, I don't think. But I couldn't do it on Comic Tropes. But this isn't Spotify. I'm listening on YouTube to stuff that's marked no copyright. So, hopefully that works. What was I just going to do with this? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think that'll do it for tonight. It's kind of a cool drawing. I don't know. Let me zoom in a little. You guys can get a little bit better look at what I've been working on this whole time. I've read some of Skate Man by Neil Adams. Not his finest work. Hold on. Trying to get at my mouse. I've got a sort of small work area here. Mad Libs? Yeah, we can do one more Mad Lib. Just give me a sec here. We can do one more Mad Lib to close out the night. That's a decent idea. You get a nice look at my food as well. It's not the... someday I'll have to get a better camera up here that can, like, you know, show you more detail. But, there's my take on Ciri. Looks like a chick you'd talk to. What a treat. Gimme meat. I'm going to have some for myself. Alright. Let's close things out with one last Mad Lib. Is everybody ready? I wasn't here for the previous Mad Lib. Alright. Alright. I need the name of a person in the chat room. Somebody give me the name of somebody there in the chat room. Gene? Alright, now I need the name of a person in room that's male. Scott. Oh, wait. No, Jack was first. Sorry. So Jack it is. Okay. Noun. Somebody give me a noun. Give me a good noun. I like these suggestions. Here we go. We're going to make the best one. Give me the best you got. In other words, the worst you got. Minecraft. Alright, Minecraft. Potato salad. Oh, orange. Okay, and orange is a noun. And then potato salad. Quarantine? Yeah, I guess that works. Let's say, hold on. And this is enough. I'm going to move on to the next thing in just a second. A4 printer paper, huh? Give me 2 seconds here. I've got a little ant. That's what happens when I'm in the basement here. All right. Gross. Adjective, folks. Give me an adjective or two. Give me an adjective. Just so you know, poopy is always acceptable. Always. Care Bear is female. Poopy. Squishy. Colossal. Okay, this should be enough. Lugubrious. And sweaty. Okay. Almost done here, folks. What we need now is, we'll need two things. One, I need one part of the body. Don't let me down here, folks. Give me a good part of the body. Give me something good. Let your mind go to horrible places. Uvula. Uvula it is. We're almost done. I need one more word. I need a verb. Give me a verb. Somebody out there? I know you have one good verb. I only need one. So it's whatever comes first. Thrust. All right. Let me finish my cracker and I'll read it to you. Daniel's still here. Daniel's coming to us all the way from Sweden. It's got to be early there. All right. Here we go. This is called 1000th Chopper Flight Celebration. I'm going to turn down this music. Okay. 1000th Chopper Flight Celebration. I'll read to you. At a party to celebrate the 1000th chopper flight, Jack finds out he'll get to fly in Frank Smith's Minecraft. Here are some poopy tips for staying safe on the flight. Do buckle up with your squishy belt. You don't want to fall out of the orange. Don't upset the potato salad pilot. He needs to stay colossal. Do laugh at Jean's jokes. It's good advice. Don't sit on her uvula while Jean is watching. Don't sit on her uvula while Jean is watching. Do try to stay as lugubrious as possible if the helicopter starts thrusting. Don't drop the piece of mango you promised your quarantine. Do attempt to land in the swimming A4 printer paper if you fall out of the helicopter. Well, good advice. Finally, don't try to fly the helicopter in a sweaty storm. Well, there you go. Mad Libs. Mad Libs, always knocking it out of the park for us. Just making us laugh so hard. I'm sure all of you out there are just, doubled over in pain. It's over 7 a.m. here in Sweden. Well, and I think, this is how Family Guy scripts are written. I think this is a good time to call it a night. You guys and gals have been awesome. Thank you so much. Did not mean to go for 3 hours. I thought maybe close to 2, but went quite a while because I was having so much fun, and I did have fun. Aiming for this Sunday to have a new episode of Comic Tropes. If it's not ready by Sunday, it'll be ready shortly after that. Still got a lot of work to do on it. And just keep your eye out on social media and on YouTube for the at-home Comic-Con, which is something I'll be participating in. Again, that's going to be April 18th. And if you want more information on it, the people that are really organizing and running it are Matt Draper, Owen Likes Comics, and Comic Drake. So each of their social medias should have more information. But I will mention some more details on the next episode. It's just going to be panels, a lot of collaboration with some of the folks that work on comic book YouTube channels. I think it should be a lot of fun for everybody. That's the goal. We're going to raise some money for charity. There's a lot of people hurting right now with what's going on. Going to try to do a little bit of good in the world, but mostly just entertain everybody. Thank you all for watching on the various channels. I sincerely appreciate that. I will see you very soon. I'm on furlough, so I'm at home. I don't have a lot to do other than work on Comic Tropes, but I'm trying to, even though I'm eating a snack here, I'm trying to eat well I'm trying to sleep normal hours, not stay up too late. That's hard for me. Working on the house, keeping that like ship shape, and staying at home and going a little nuts. So this helps. This helps me. I hope it helped all of you. I'm going to take off now. Keep reading comics. I look forward to seeing you soon.